Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Welch's can't make everything make sense. Like why your mom still listens to the radio or what she meant when she sent that emoji. But a zero sugar drink that's still full of fruit flavor, we made that make sense. And strawberry, passion fruit, Concord grape, and more. You gotta sip it to get it. New Welch's Zero Sugar. Let's fruit stuff up.
This week in McCook, Nebraska, jealousy, threesomes, anger, and sexually explicit graffiti lead to horrible murder with the entire town revolted by both the violence and the filth. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Wisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on another really crazy edition of Small Town Murder.
Great.
The opening, the description, the log line there sounded crazy. I couldn't even, I don't know how to put it into such a small amount. It's just insane. We'll get to it. Wild stuff today. Thank you for joining us. A couple things quick at the top of the show, obviously. Thank you for your reviews. They help a lot. So wherever you listen, see if you can do a review and drop one on us. It helps a lot. Also, Patreon this week. My goodness. My God, patreon.com/crime and sports is where you're going to get all of your good bonus stuff. $5 or above gets you everything. Crime and sports bonus, small town murder bonus, entire back catalog, everything. And this week we have some of the best stuff ever for you. For crime and sports, we have from this book that this man spent 15 years making and countless dollars investigating, this private investigator. It's called OJ is Innocent and I Can Prove It! ! And we have had more feedback on this than I think any regular episode we've ever talked about. More people are convinced OJ is innocent than I've ever heard in my life. It's wild. So check that out. And then
innocent is a fun word.
Well, maybe not innocent, but they don't think he killed either of those people, right. Is what we're getting at. And then for Small Town Murder, we talked about this season of Love during lockup, we had such a good time with those people too. So this is a great week. If you want to get started on Patreon, we would recommend maybe this week doing it. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get all of your tickets for live shows. I think Chicago and Minneapolis are sold out. You can keep checking back to see if a couple have opened up here and there, but they look to be sold out. We do have an announcement about the Chicago show. Don't worry, it's happening. Everything's fine. No delays or anything, but at the end of the show, we have an announcement for that. And then we have an announcement of something very, very cool at the end of the show as well. So
fun. Stick
around for that and get your tickets. Also, next month, Pittsburgh and Columbus, some tickets left for that. So get your tickets to that. And disclaimer, it's a comedy show.
It is.
It's a comedy show. We're comedians. That takes nothing away from the realness of the story. The story is nothing's made up for comedic purposes. We never say, like, wouldn't it be cool if this happened? And then tell you that. That would never a thing we don't do. That's all real, unfortunately. But there's jokes to be made. That's the thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Is there terrible murder? Yes, there's terrible murder. But is there jokes? Yes, it's not about the murder part. That's not what you joke about. You joke about someone thinking they can get away with it. You joke about a police force that maybe bumbled and talked to the murderer 10 times and didn't think that he was the killer. Something of that nature. There's a lot of stupid around a murder, put it that way. But what we don't do, we go out of our way not to do, is we never make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why, James?
Because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags, Jimmy. That's how it works. So if that sounds good to you, we're going to have a great time. If you think true crime and comedy should never, ever, never, ever cross paths at all, maybe we're not for you, but we might be, honestly.
You don't know.
You don't know.
Like Nelly, take a ride with me.
Either way, no goddamn complaining afterwards. That's all it said. So that said, Jimmy, I think it's time to sit back. Let's clear the lungs a little bit.
Sure.
Let's shout, shut up
and give me murder.
Let's do this, Jimmy.
Let's go.
Let's go on a trip, shall we? We're coming from the Appalachians last week. We're coming from some jug band, basically. When I was trying to look for pictures of the people in the case, I was like, why don't I just post the Country Bear Jamboree? Because I feel like that's everyone involved in this case. It's just there wasn't a shoe in that entire story, I feel like. No one.
It was all the characters at the end of Splash Mountain that are singing the song. Those people in riverboat in overalls.
Yeah, overalls and shoeless. So that's it. This week we're going to go to Nebraska, head over to the Midwest here, kind of right in the center of the country. We're going to go to McCook, Nebraska.
Okay.
Ever heard of McCook, Jimmy?
That's the town?
That's the town, McCook.
Oh.
Not yeah.
Oh,
exciting.
My.
The exciting town of McCook. It's in southwestern Nebraska, where all the parties happen, I guess.
Yeah.
That's where you get down. It's 4 hours and 20 minutes to Omaha. So really far from it's the other side of the state. About an hour and a half over to Sutherland, Nebraska, which is our last Nebraska episode 194.
Holy shit.
Yeah, a real life Halloween monster. It was a Halloween episode of somebody being a monster. And that was a long time ago. So glad to be back in Nebraska here. I don't think anyone else has ever said that, but we just have. So there you go. It's in Red Willow County, which sounds lovely. Red Willow County, area code 308. It has a lot of mottos. They've developed over the years. They've had, I think there's like 5-6 mottos.
They're changing them every year?
Listen to this. Okay, It started out as the capital of the Buffalo Commons. I don't know what the hell that's all about.
Buffalo Commons.
The Buffalo Commons. Then they started in the early days, their slogan was, quote, the Magic City. That was humorous even for them, where they're like, people are taking this as a joke. They're like, they're saying we have a good sense of humor here. Then they switch it from the Magic City to the OK City.
You guys are right.
More realistic.
Tone it down.
It's okay. It was the not bad city. They're like, that's wordy. Let's shorten it up. Okay, all right, okay.
The OK City.
The OK City, which is amazing. Then in the 1960s, they changed it to It's All Here. And then people were like, nothing's here. We got to change that.
Yeah.
And then in the 1970s, that was McCook, the American Experience. And then it was Nebraska's Hotspot.
Every decade they change it.
I found one that's their current one now. It's, quote, if anyone has any ideas for town slogans, please call Mayor Johnson at 617... ...
Yeah.
That's their new slogan. Anyone with an idea,
we've
we'll
run
take
out of ideas.
We've tried them all is the thing.
Being honest, we ran out of ideas at the OK City, but you guys wanted more.
It's like a football team that's on their 12th quarterback by, week 16. You're like, this is a problem. I think you might have bigger problems.
It's the 0-16 Lions.
Yeah, we looked that up. That was hilarious.
They had like 7 quarterbacks that year.
That's not a good sign usually.
No.
It's a bad sign for football. So, history of this town, it was platted in 1882. Yeah. When railroad extended to this point. That's the only reason why it's here, for railroad, like a lot of these western towns. It was named in honor...
I still want to know what the fuck a Buffalo Commons is.
I think there was buffalo there, is what it was. I know there was a lot of buffalo in Nebraska. So
what's a commons? Isn't that
commons
where
probably
you go shopping?
I think it's like commons would be like maybe like an area where people mingle, like the common, like in a town
area?
Square kind of a thing. Like the town square for Buffalo is what Buffalo Central, bitches, I believe. That's their next slogan.
Well, then would be a fucking corral.
Buffalo Common bitches, I think, is their next one.
Okay.
So it was named this town in honor of Alexander McDowell McCook. He has 2 Micks in his name.
Sure in the fuck did.
The most Irish man ever. That'd be like if my parents named me what they originally thought of after my 2 grandfathers, which would have been Gaetano Biagio Petrogallo, which would have been I don't know.
It's a lot of O's at the end of every word.
That's a lot. I'd have had to do some work with that. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I'd have had to come up with a different identity, I feel like.
Just go by Guy as like Cher. Just one word, Guy.
You have to carry a tiny monkey and an organ grinder with you if your name is Gaetano Biagio Petrogallo.
You either go by Guy or you do fucking all of it. It's all or nothing.
How you doing? I'm Ted. Gaetano Biagio Petrogallo. Nice to meet you.
Can I call you something shorter? Fucking no.
No.
You gotta say them all. I earned
full
this.
name. I'm telling you, that would have been bad for me. You shouldn't even be allowed to speak English if that's your name.
Is that like 4 syllables a word?
I'm gotta talk with an accent everywhere I go. Can I please? So anyway, McCook here was a brigadier general in the Union Army during the Civil War. So he gets this place named after him. Yeah. Congratulations. There you go.
Right.
So Red Willow County formed in 1873. It's named for the Red Willow Creek, which is, of course, a mistranslation of a Dakota Indian name here, which actually translated to Red Dogwood Creek. But they mistranslated it, and here we are in 2022, and it's still Red Willow.
It's a different tree.
What are you going to do? There you go. There's red dogwood shrubs all along the creek banks. That's why.
Okay.
So they favored these particular trees for basket making.
Oh.
So okay. Here's some reviews of the town. 4 stars. By the way, that's the Sahara Desert fart fact of the week. Basket making. They favored red dogwood shrubs to make baskets, everyone.
In the event that you're a basket weaver, use those. Evidently, the natives loved them.
They're the best, everyone.
Yeah.
So, reviews of this town. Here's a 4-star review. They like it. 4 stars is good. I enjoy McCook because it's very cozy. It's a very cozy small town, and it's great for families. I am happy to have been raised in this town, and I've had a great experience. Is this person dying? Sound like I'll be gone soon, but this town will remain. The only real, quote, problems, in quotes, are the ones that come with every small town. There may not be a lot of diversity in the community, and that can be a downside, but at the same time, a lot bigger cities don't have the same sense of community that Cook does with its small size. There you go. So whoever this person is, they're defending this place.
Defending their
defending their
say all those things about my dick.
Yeah, you could. We could all say that about our genitalia. So here's 2 stars. Quote, for one, McCook is the most boring town in all of America.
All right, here we go.
The whole continent, I think he's talking about. North, South, Mexico, Canada. Do not come to McCook, Nebraska if you're young. There is absolutely nothing to do but go shopping at Walmart. and it's in quotes, movie theater. I don't know if it's like a field with folding chairs in it, and like some guy put like some guy put a sheet up on the wall and projects movies in it. He says only plays 3 movies. Every newly released movie comes out 3 weeks later in McCook. Oh, it takes that long to get to the middle of the country. Yeah. Oh, no. So while your friends are all seeing the new movie on its release date and loving it, you'll be waiting years to see it. Or 3 weeks, one of the two. There aren't much good food spots. Fuller's is okay, has a lot of druggies. Oh, okay. Well, all there really is McDonald's, Subways, and Arby's. Runza is disgusting, and they always have flies inside. Jesus. If I could change one thing, it'd be coming to this town in general. That's a sullen teenager wrote that shit.
Yeah.
Fuck my parents. I don't...
These
Dad,
assholes.
I don't care how good a job it is, Dad. I don't want to fucking live there. I have friends.
At the Walmart.
The Walmart. More of it. 1 star. Here we go. The people are backwards, racist, abusive, and generally uneducated. By the way, whenever I read this, we have to say, this isn't us saying this. We've never been here. This is a review of the town from a person we've never met and don't know who they are. So
it's your neighbor. If you're there and you're pissed about this, talk to the people.
Yeah, don't
take
tweet
it to
us.
Your town meeting.
Don't tweet us and yell at us for it, because we've had that before. We're like, hey, these aren't our reviews. We're just reading what people said. Every time I take a trip to Walmart, I'm met with a Confederate flag. Half the residents own large dogs that they leave outside at all hours of the day through winter. So if you take a walk through town, there's constant loud barking. Jesus, this place sounds like post-apocalypse. Almost everybody drives a lifted truck, and a sizable portion of the trucks have their mufflers removed, so you're forced to listen to revving truck engines 24/7. Just revving engines and barking dogs. That's this whole town. That's a new motto for them.
Who removes the muffler? I don't think this person knows much about cars, because I think it's just straight pipes. It's exhaust.
Yeah. During the day, the muffler noise is so loud that it's difficult to work from home. I complained to the police about both issues, and they were very rude to me both times. Well, yeah, they're like, what do you want us to do? What are you talking about? Several people I know were only able to get menial jobs after they deleted their college credentials from their resumes. Well, yeah, if you try to get a job at Subway and you have a master's degree, they tend to not want to hire you because they don't think you're going to be there very long.
Yeah, you also never heard of overqualified. There's a reason sometimes those people don't get hired, because they got too much.
Because they're going to be looking for another job. They're not going to be satisfied with that.
And I'm going to hire somebody else soon.
The town is disgusting. The people are disgusting, and it's dying for a reason. If you want a good idea of what the people are like, watch the 2003 movie Dogville. I've never seen that, but that's what it sounds like a good name for this town is. There's barking dogs and
trucks.
People here, population 7,500, 7,499. So it's a decent amount of people. More females than males. It's about average, though. It's not too bad, far off. Median age is about normal, 36.6. That's pretty normal. A lot of kids, a lot of old people.
Okay.
75 to 84, shitload of those, and a lot of kids. So
that happens a lot in these towns too.
So strange. Old people having babies. It must be. That's all it could be.
Just hanging on to that single lifestyle.
Hanging on. Race of this town: 91.5% white, 0.3% black. Not a lot of black people there. 0.4% Asian, and 6% Hispanic. So it's a pretty white. It's a Nebraska small town. I don't know what you're expecting here. Religion here, 77.1% of the people here are religious.
Wow.
That is obscenely high. That's almost a record, I feel like.
77?
And the odd thing is 34% are Catholic, which makes... I don't know how they got... There just must have been one really good Catholic missionary in this town that just fucking got everybody on board right from the start. It's all I could think of. It's very strange.
There's a rock star father. They're like, his message is just better. We just go there because it's better.
Catholics are the Baptists of the Wheat Belt? I don't know. Is that I'm not sure here.
What was the movie with Steve Martin? Wasn't that that was just regular ass Baptist shit, huh?
Yeah.
It wasn't Catholicism.
0.0% Jewish, though, not at all here. Politics of this town. In Red Willow County, last election, 14.8% people voted Democratic, 82.7% Republican,
yeah, that makes sense.
and 2.4% independent here. Let's see. Unemployment rate in this town. This is one of these places where unemployment rate's very low. It's only 2% here, which the rest of the country, it's like 3%. So it's not really any different. But the median household income is also really low. Median household income here, $40,372.
Okay.
It's normally about 58,000, so that's low. 40% of the people make under 30,000 a year here as well.
What are they doing for work to make that?
It's a lot of everything. It's a mishmash. The jobs are actually average and whatever, but they just don't pay a lot here. It just really doesn't. And the cost of living isn't a lot. Out of 100, the cost of living here is 77.9. So not that high. Housing, a 44 out of 100. Median home cost $124,900.
Wow.
Pretty low. So if we've convinced you, damn it, you need to check out the wheat belt. We have for you the McCook, Nebraska Real Estate Report. All right, your average rental here goes for about $620 a month. They're 2-bedroom rental.
Very cheap, yeah.
Very cheap, less than half the national average. A 3-bedroom, 1-bath house here. It's 1,092 square feet. It is plain. It is beige, yellow. I don't even know what color it is. It's faded yellow, if that makes sense.
We smoke a lot and blow it on the walls outside.
On the outside of the house. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Even the lawn is beige. Like, it's dead and just beige. Like, it's almost the same color as the house. It's just a beige mess.
Can you paint my house dead grass yellow?
Dead grass yellow. I want it to match the dead grass from the front of the house. I want people to just see, like, one wave of like a dead grass yellow. We could do that.
I don't like the contrast.
It looks like it was painted in the 70s and it's just been fading ever since. Yeah. Let's just say on the inside, it could use some new carpets and leave it at that. Let's not get too into the DNA and the disgustingness of it. Yeah. It's got like, you know how in like the desert there's like little grooves and where the wind blows sand pot. That's what the carpet looks like. There's like weird.
What?
It's like outside of Beetlejuice, like out of the house with the sandworm
inside the house.
I don't know, man, but something, and I don't want to find out. I've had a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,376 square feet. It's a weird, like, teal, got some weird teal accents on it that aren't that great. Not good from the outside. Inside looks nice, though.
Oh,
not bad. Like, there's some, nice, like, wood floors, and the trim is nice. It's actually not a bad place. If you updated a few things, $115,000 for that.
Well, all right.
Yeah, you could put a little cash into it. Then there's this thing. I don't even know what the hell to call this. It's a multi-family home, it's listed as. 8-bedroom, 4-bath, 8,000 square feet. It's a shithole. I'm not going to lie to you.
It's a giant one.
It's huge. It looks like 2 really nasty, ugly raised ranches. 2 of the yellow dead grass house.
Yeah.
If you put those together and attached them with it looks like a U, like make a wraparound thing, and it's not good, man. It's bad stuff.
Half circle house,
$325,000 for this thing.
For 8,000 square feet.
8,000 square feet of Nebraska.
I kind of want it.
You kind of want. I don't know if you could rent it out, it might be a good investment. I don't know what you can do with it, but it's a big place. I feel like it's going to cost you a lot to renovate a place that's 8,000 square feet, though. The things to do here, my God. The Red Willow County Fair, baby. Let's get into it. Oh, they say, this is right from their website here, a variety of equine events. So horses draw. 30 to 40,000 horse lovers to the Kiplinger Arena at the Red Willow Country or County Fairgrounds each year. July in McCook means it's Red Willow County Fair time. We all know that. Who doesn't know that? It says the fair is the sort that everyone seems to think of when they think of old fashion county fairs. The smell of corn dogs and popcorn floating in the air, livestock bawling from the show ring, wide-smiled children proudly clutching purple ribbons, and carnival lights lighting up the night sky.
Okay.
Wow, they're really selling this shit. There's all of that and much more at the Red Willow County Fair.
And more.
Let's go over some lineup and just see what more they're talking about, shall we? There's open and enter open class exhibits. I think that's just to look at your animals here. The Greater Carnival, the More Greater Show Carnival. And the Coyote Country Music Showdown is happening.
Oh, boy.
And you know it's good because it's free admission.
Yeah.
So when a bunch of bands are playing for free, you know it's good. You know it's good when that happens.
All the best festivals are free.
They're all free, yeah. Thursday, the day here, Little Red Tractor Pull goes on.
That's a band?
No, that's an event that happens.
Yeah.
The Little Red Tractor Pull. I guess Little Red Tractor's bullshit. The Demolition Derby starts up the next day. That sounds like fun here. What else we got? Oh, the James Lee Band.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. He's there at 9:30 at night. And then the headliner, Shenandoah.
Oh.
Is that sarcastic?
How did they get Shenandoah to play this?
How did they get the James Lee Band there? I don't know do you really know who that is?
Yes, Shenandoah is
okay.
that's an actual band. That's a decent band.
It costs $20 to see them, so they're actually charging to see Shenandoah. There you go. I thought you were joking. I was like, yeah,
they're
and the
decent.
James Lee Band too. Wow, what a fucking revelation, everybody! What a get. Then I'm going to skip right to Sunday, 10:30 a.m. The Cowboy Church Sunday Fun Day.
Fuck.
Okay. If you said you could go to the Cowboy Church Sunday Fun Day, or I'm going to impale your forehead with this giant spike, I would fucking make an X with a Sharpie right on my forehead and said, right fucking here, make sure you do it right the first time. Let's get it over with.
Yeah.
Holy shit. And then finally...
Cowboy Church Sunday Fun Day. What is that? They don't have details? It's just
does it need details? Right? Put on your hat and tell everybody you love Jesus. Get the fuck on over here, buddy. What else do you need to know? Belt buckle Jesus. What's the problem? Barbecue? I don't know.
What are we going to do? It's Sunday, so you guessed it, Fun Day.
It's Fun Day. And then finally, mutton busting to round out the event. We're going to bust some mutton here. You know, the mutton's always selling shit on the corner.
Get those kids out there.
Get them out there. And then quickly, I'm not going to talk about it, but the Prairie Chicken Dance Tour is also there, which is actually prairie chickens. And people watch the prairie chickens, quote, jousting with one another to win over the hens.
That's called a cockfight.
That's a cockfight. And it says, quote, have your cameras at the ready so you can watch chickens. Here's a picture from when we went to Nebraska, and this one chicken killed another chicken. I took a picture of it. There, who the fuck pictures do you need of this to give to the police afterwards?
I remember the bloodbath, but it's a damn good thing I got the picture of it because they told me I had my camera out. So.
I did.
I just want to remind you, we once watched a chicken bloodbath.
There you go. We paid for it and brought the kids. This is a family event, for fuck's sake.
Come on down, watch the chicken murder. Afterwards, free chicken wings for everybody.
Afterwards, we're going to eat the loser. We're going to fry him right up. Gonna fry him right up. It's going to be fresh. Real fresh.
Holy Christ.
Crime rate in this town, what we're interested in, property crime is actually above the national average. It's about 20% high. Yeah, what the fuck are these people doing in this town?
I mean, James, they watch chicken fights. They're vicious people.
I was going to say that the moral compass is skewed by all the chicken violence they've been forced to intake. They've been watching it and they see it and they get a bloodlust for it. I don't know.
McCook, might I suggest a little more cowboy church, a little less chicken murder?
A little less chicken murder. Now, violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is under half the national average. It's not even half the national average. So it's a pretty safe place. That is until 1973.
What happened?
When we have to talk about a murder that took place there. Let's talk about a murder. Okay, because this is just, wow, a lot of crazy here. So let's start out with Monday, September 24th, 1973.
Okay.
Oh, baby, think about that day.
The end of summer, fall coming on.
You could still buy a cool American car then. You know what I mean? Like, because it wasn't going to be for a while. For like another 20 years. Yeah.
It's almost over.
Yeah.
And the memories of the most recent town square chicken murders are fresh in your head in September. It's all
fresh
right
in your head. Yeah. You're hanging out at the Buffalo Common, thinking about the chicken murders.
Yeah.
Thinking about the old McCook chicken murders from 72. And it was a particularly bloody year in 72 on the chicken circuit.
Yeah.
Very bloody year, but great for photographers. You know, amateur photographers getting it out there.
Right now, you're just getting the pictures back from the photo mat of the blood mat.
Just getting them now. It took a while, you know.
Yeah.
It takes a long time. I wonder where the chicken started. Everything takes 3 weeks to get to Nebraska. Yeah. They start chicken fighting other places, and it's just getting there now. So, 1973 here on September 24th, there's a woman named Kay Hine. She's Hein. She's 30 years old, and she can't get a hold of her parents. She's trying to get a hold of her parents. Where the hell are my parents here? She's looking for Edwin and Wilma Hoyt is who they're looking for. And I'm going to show you a picture of Edwin and Wilma. Edwin is 56. Wilma's 57. And much like, for some reason, I don't know what it was, like in the 90s, our DNA all changed to where like 60-year-old people didn't look like they were 80 anymore. You know what I mean? Like everything switched and changed because back in the 70s, if you were 56 years old, people called you grandpa, and you look like an old man. And, you know, it was like, you're retiring soon. Now, 56 is like, I'm going to college. I'm looking for a new career. Like, it's a completely... Let me show you these people.
58-year-olds now have, like, viral TikTok pages, and they're, like, getting paid for their workout fucking regimen.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Keanu Reeves is, like, 56 years old. Right. You know what I mean? Like, people are... And look, okay, roll your chair over, Jimmy. I'm going to give you a reveal here. Here, come over next to me here. Check out these folks.
Oh boy.
How old do they look?
78 years old?
78 years old they look. They look 100 years old, these people, but they're 56 years old and 57 years old. How crazy is that, dude?
That's shocking.
It's shocking, yeah. It's not what 56-year-old people look like now. It's crazy. So anyway, that's who they're looking for is Wilma and Edwin and Wilma Hoyt, which is, you can see them. They live in McCook, Nebraska. You saw them. I would say the thing that comes to mind is square. Like crisp edges on the square, too.
I would call them reliable.
Oh, my God. They look, if he says he's going to come help you, like, dig a trench, he's going to be there 20 minutes early, probably. Crack of dawn with his own shovel.
Set your watch to what the fuck they're doing.
Every fucking day. So that's when Kay Hine attempts to call her parents on September 24th, 1973, several times and gets no answer. She starts to be like, where the hell are my parents? You know where they are at all times. They're just those kind of people. So she calls one of their neighbors. That's how concerned she is. A guy named Jerry Myers. He's one of the neighbors. She said, hey, you want to mind going next door to my parents' farm here? Because they live on a farm.
Right.
Go next door to the farm and check and see if they're like out doing some shit on the farm and missing my calls. Because I've been calling all the times when they take breaks and lunchtime, and no one's doing anything. So Jerry Myers says no one's home. Went over there. Their car's gone. House is locked up. No one's there. She said the bedroom window was open, but no one's in the house. No, I knocked. It just looks quiet. I guess it had rained 1.5 inches earlier there. And you couldn't really get in to the house because of or you could get in, but it rained a lot, and it's a dirt driveway.
Okay,
so
muddy,
if a car had come or gone, you'd be able to see the mud tracks.
That too, yeah.
Very easy. So they haven't been there that day. That was early in the morning that all the rain came, so their car hasn't left since then, clearly. So no car tracks there. So Kay calls her sister, Donna. Says, hey, what the hell here, Donna? What do you got? I can't find mom or dad. What do you think? So you call your mom a few times, right? You call her a few times. She doesn't answer. You call her neighbor, which I wouldn't obviously do, but let's say you know the neighbor.
Yeah.
You call the neighbor and you go, hey, go check on my mom. And the neighbor comes back and goes, yeah, her car's not here and its house is all locked up. She's not home. Mm-hmm. What do you do at that point? Nothing, right?
I guess I'll see her here when she gets back.
Guess I'll talk to her later then, right? Because there's no.
She's at.
It's 73.
Yeah.
No phone. She's not home. You would just go, I'll wait, probably. Let's have a wait and see approach.
Right.
Instead, she talks to Donna, who Donna is learning to get her pilot's license. So they go with Donna and Donna's flight instructor and fly over the farm to see if the car is out in one of the pastures or not. That seems like an extreme reaction to can't get a hold of mom for a couple hours. Let's get in a plane and go. That's some search and recovery shit there.
Does it seem faster just to go walk that? You got to go to the airport, get clearance from the tower, get up in the air.
I guess to be able to see behind stuff, I guess aerial way is the best way to do it. So they fly over, nothing there, couldn't find it. After the flight, Donna and Kay went, and the two of them drove over to the farm together. Well, we couldn't find them that way. So Kay knows where there's a hidden key. They got a key for emergencies. So they get the key, they go in, they inspect the house, check it out. They find a pan where they know that they had ham the night before, and we'll tell you why later. So they found a pan that the ham had been cooked in the night before for Sunday dinner. It was soaking in the sink. Yeah. Like you do if you have meat and stuff in it. So it's soaking in the sink. There's $10 in cash on top of the television set. Okay. So, 2 plates with cantaloupe rinds on them are in the living room. Gross. So it looks like they were just beamed up from aliens, but their car is gone too. Otherwise, it's just looks like the still life of what they were doing. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Listen up, folks. With ZocDoc, you don't have to settle anymore when it comes to finding the right doctor. No more going to the dentist who want to chat with you while they're cleaning your teeth. Thanks to ZocDoc, you've got options. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality, in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, are located nearby, are a good fit for any medical need you may have, and are highly rated by verified patients. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Wondery to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Wondery. ZocDoc.com/Wondery.
They had their night clothes, like pajamas, laid out on the pillows of their bed.
God, I can't wait for that life.
Can you imagine how organized? Remember when we said square and reliable? Yeah. They lay out their pajamas on their pillows so when they go to bed, they can just
put them on.
And they're
amazing.
And their bed was made perfectly. Hadn't been slept in.
Oh, Christ.
PJ's sitting on top of the pillow like there's some kind of like hotel maid that came in and did it.
They hotel made themselves. They take care of themselves like a homemade, like a hotel would.
It's awesome. They restock their own mini bars. It's wild.
Yeah. They fold their toilet paper into origami and shit.
That's sweet. Yeah, I like that. I also like when I come in to have my toilet taped shut in the morning when I get there. I'm like, thanks, honey. Thanks for taping my toilet shut. I appreciate that. Let me know it's clean that way.
Thanks for letting me know it's sanitary.
Jesus Christ. So their beds hadn't been slept in, but they don't know if, what the hell the deal is. The only signs of anything were, the tracks of the next door neighbor in the yard when they told them to go over there and look at the house. Right. So that's it. No, nothing from the parents, anything. So they said that they could not find the mother's purse or the father's billfold where he keeps his money, which makes sense if they're not home.
Right. They got him with them. Yeah.
Their car's gone. They're not here. And mom's purse and dad's money is gone too. Wow. If only we could crack this mystery.
Well, perhaps they're not home.
I'm still thinking maybe they're not home, but they have other reason to believe. They have reason to believe otherwise here. Okay. But so they also found Wilma's arthritis medicine in its usual place as well. So they're like, okay, so they didn't go anywhere for a long time.
Right.
They didn't leave for a week. Yeah. She's going to take that with her. So Donna, her sister, Kay's sister, says that Kay was very nervous throughout the entire search and kept repeating that, oh, my God, I just know something awful's happened to them. I just know something awful's happened to them over and over and over again. Obviously, you think that because you're getting a plane as soon as that you can't get a hold of them. You must think that something awful's happened.
You are certainly the one that...
Yeah.
You're the one that sees the worst in everything.
That's the fucking thing. She also asked Donna to look under the beds, look in the barn, look in the shop, look everywhere that nobody would look. Look over, under, look, in where they store the wheat, look everywhere. Mm-hmm. They could be anywhere. So she's very, very concerned. Let's talk about who these people are that are missing here. Okay. Edwin and Wilma Hoyt. And by the way, reading their description and everything, you have no idea what you're in for the rest of this fucking show. This has where they come in and how this whole thing happens is such a crazy ordeal that you're like, your mind's going to be blown by the end of this goddamn show. I'm telling you.
Great.
So anyway, Edwin was born near Culbertson, which is southwest of McCook, in 1918. He's born January 1918. He attended high school in McCook. Graduated in 1935. He was an all-conference guard on the McCook High football team.
No kidding.
He's a real sturdy guy. He's known as like a real kind of a strong, sturdy farm guy. I mean,
in Nebraska, they call them corn-fed, James.
He's a corn-fed, football-playing fucking farm guy. He was, so he's all-conference there. He's a shorter guy, but very powerful. One of those guys. So after he graduated, he attended the Barnes Business College in Denver, went over there for a year, but then returned to the farm with his father near Culbertson and continued farming kind of on and off. It'll be like a part-time thing for the rest of his life. He's got a farm, but he always has other businesses he's working on here. Right. His bankers called him a hard-working but not particularly capable farmer. Oh. So not real good at farming, but he'll sure give it his all.
Sure tries hard.
Yep. He worked for a while for his son-in-law, who is Donna's husband, worked for him for a while. He had a fuel and fertilizer business, which just east of McCook. And he is employed in 1973 by the Valls Plumbing Company in McCook. Mm-hmm. So despite the fact that he looks like someone's great-grandfather, he's still working for a plumbing company.
Shit.
He had no formal training as a plumber and was not licensed as a plumber, but he knew how to do it because he did it all over the place, just He was just kind of a self-taught plumber. So he began as a plumber's assistant, and then they started giving him projects on his own, even though his work had to be inspected by the actual licensed plumbers. Right. But they still, did it. And everybody said, super nice guy, reliable, Jimmy, like you said. Square, reliable. You give him a job, he's going to be there on time, get the job done as prescribed, and clean up after he's, when he's done with it. So he's that kind of guy. People say he has a temper, but he keeps it in check, everyone says too. He's not like not rocking around yelling at people and shit. He has 2 brothers. One is an Air Force colonel in California, and one was a farmer as well. So there you go. And he also has a sister there. Now, Edwin, very social. Yeah. Sociable kind of guy. Likes to go out, do things, has a lot of friends, has a lot of opinions as well. He's outspoken on shit. He'll tell you things, but doesn't discuss his personal life a whole lot. He's a master mason and a member of the York Rite bodies. So he's in social clubs.
Okay. He's a Freemason.
Yeah, he has multiple places where he can go and drink with other guys while wearing a stupid hat. That's what he does. He puts on stupid hats and drinks with other old men a lot.
Yeah.
So that's how that goes.
And a belt full of carpentry tools.
That always. Wilma begins her career at the telephone company in Culbertson. And later on, she's working in 1973, she's working at the DeGroff's department store in McCook as a salesperson. Okay. So these are hardworking people. They got married. They farmed near Culbertson. And then they bought and remodeled an old 2-story house in Culbertson. And they lived in town during the school year. And in the summer, they would go back to the farm and do the farm shit with the kids when they got off school. So that's kind of an interesting life. They have live in town and then totally removed in the summer. All their kids they have 5 kids. They all graduated from high school. Yeah. And once they graduated, they sold the farm and moved back to a family farm near Culbertson. And that's where they're living in 1973, near Culbertson. But they're McCook kind of born and bred, though. They have 5 kids: Roger, Donna, Kay, Stanley, and Herbert.
Okay. 3 boys, 2 girls.
3 boys, 2 girls. But Wilma and Edwin, like I said, they both like the social gatherings. They like to be,
around people.
In the mix. They don't want to sit in rocking chairs. They're not as old as they look in that picture. Put it that way. They like to do shit. They like to go out and play pinochle a lot with their friends. Real into pinochle.
This is how I look, not how I feel.
Yeah, I look terrible, not terrible, but I look older than I feel is what it is what they're saying here. So it's good, like the opposite of us, kind of. People say that you look good for your age. I feel terrible though. Is that normal? Is that like do I get me back for not having gray hair? I fucking feel awful. Is that how that works?
I've got ingrown toenails on every toe. Stop it. I hurt.
My body's clearly turning against me.
That's what it feels like. But then I go to a doctor and they're like, "No, your toes are fine." And I'm like, "No, these hurt. There's got to be ingrown something." They're like, "No, you're fine. Go home." You're
just old, and your toenails are given. That's what that is. They're giving way on you.
Feels like they're cutting. No, everything's fine.
You're good, dude. So these 2, they like to go to pinochle parties. That's what they're really into. On the weekends, they go to pinochle parties. They took the kids along when they were young. You know how that went. All the kids in the basement, all the adults upstairs playing pinochle. People got their first hand jobs at those pinochle parties in those basements. You know it. You know it happened. Yeah. You just know it. It's pinochle weekend. Kids splashing cologne on. He's like 12. Yeah. Hey, we're going to do some pinochle.
Herbert, why are you so excited to go to pinochle? You're going to the basement. Oh, I know.
So Edwin and Wilma, also big fishermen. They didn't hunt a lot. Like Edwin had like an old rifle and a shotgun, and he's a farmer. I mean, you never know what's going to come up, animals or whatever. So he had that, but he's not much of a hunter, more of a fisher and fisherman. They're big grandparents too. Big into being grandparents.
Yeah.
They love it. they would their daughter Kay, when she's doing stuff in a way, they take her kids in and watch them all the time. And then even on this is what they would do on Christmas morning. Yeah. We're talking 5 a.m. They would drive over to another town and wait outside Donna's house until their lights went on, so then they could come over and watch the kids open presents.
Wow.
And they was expected. Like, as soon as we get up, mom and dad are going to be at the door. There they are. Like,
doing so much.
That's really dedicated grandparenting. Yeah. Like, these people are square and nice, and these are the grandparents you want.
Right.
Can't wait to see those kiddies open up those presents. Like, oh man, what a good grandpa and grandma. That's
as
good
a kid,
shit.
Yeah, that's awesome. I call
if you're
my
Donna
mom,
and
yeah, I call my mom around Christmas and just say Merry Christmas. She's like, yeah, tell the kids I said hi.
Yeah, for Donna and Owen here, they got to be sitting there being like, don't turn the lights on yet. Kids, keep the fucking lights off. Kids, whoever touches that light's getting their fingers broken. All of them, I swear to God.
You will open your gifts last with broken hands.
with broken fingers, and I will not take you. You're not going to go to the hospital today. It's Christmas. I'm sorry. We're not doing it. You're not ruining my ham that I'm making later.
My toenails hurt.
My toenails hurt. You understand that? You ungrateful little shit. I'll tell Santa, okay? He'll come back and take all this shit back. You ever had that threatened that Santa's going to take it all back? Yeah. I've had that threatened too. And I remember as being like 7 going, no, he's not. He's not coming back. So I was like, he's done for the year. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What has he got? All these return orders he's got to do the next day? Imagine that. Yeah. How many returns would he have to go collect the next day? How ungrateful would we seem saying fucking take this back? Like, put it in a closet for later. I'm not taking it back.
If the trash man misses our trash can, he won't even come back. Don't tell me Santa's coming back.
Santa's not coming back to collect undeserved gifts. That's not going to be a thing. No. So that's the kind of grandparents they are. So anyway, they eventually hear Donna and Kay go to the police because they don't know what else to do. So they notify the state patrol and the Red Willow County Sheriff's Office that they're, Edwin and Wilma are missing. Edwin and Wilma Hoyt, please find them. Yeah. They replied that there's no evidence that there's any kind of crime. These are 2 adults that left in a car seemingly voluntarily. Their purses are, not like the purses at the house and all that. This is kind of people leaving is out of our jurisdiction. We can't investigate where people are, what, You can vote. Well, how come the store doesn't have Boo-Berry this Halloween? Like, you can't. What are we going to investigate that? I don't know. That sounds like a civil matter to me. Not
or civic,
or civic. One of the two.
The house has no signs of anybody hurt. So
the doors were locked, snug. Yeah. There's not blood on the walls or anything. Right. Like, what are we supposed to do about it? So
there's honeydew here. Leave us alone.
Yeah, I mean, what they left a mess though. Okay, well, so they're messy. Do you want us to write them a citation for that? Clean up your honeydew? Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
They left and they're full. That's what we know about them now.
We know they're full of ham and cantaloupe. They're having a good day.
They're
Leave
smiling.
them alone. So the McCook patrol office notified the sheriff of Hickok County, where Culbertson is, there, because that's where their farm is. And the sheriff went out to the farm and looked around, and nothing suspicious again. They said, well, nothing in your information sounds suspicious. We'll go look at it. Nothing suspicious after looking at it. So never mind. So on September 26th, now this is 2 days later, Owen Elmer and Larry Hoyt flew over the area again. A lot of plane
sons of bitches.
Right? They got a lot of access to private aircraft here.
It's wild.
They were looking for the car. At the same time, there's a search on the ground by Kay and Donna, looking all over, talking to neighbors, trying to get any information they can, turning up anything. That's it. The family then notifies the Kansas and Colorado state patrols and contacted local radio and TV outlets and spreads they're missing. Find them information. Wow. So, yeah, if you're like a television news editor, you have to sit here and go, do we know, like, they could have just went on vacation and not told their kids because they're annoyed with them? Like, what are we how do you broadcast that? But nowadays, there would be a silver alert, they would call it. And although I don't even think 57's old enough for that. Can you call
it? Might not be.
Can you do can someone call Silver Alert in on me if they can't find me?
There's got to be.
My early 40s, right? 43, and they're like, fucking.
I would be furious. I would choke my children.
My hair, I don't even have any silver yet. This isn't right. It's just not logical.
I'm going to see Silver Alert age restrictions. I guess that would be it.
Yeah, I guess it's just for adults.
Qualifications.
I think it's just for adults who might be in need of help.
That's what it is, James. I'm going to be so mad.
So I can call a Silver Alert in on Jimmy that I'm looking for him.
65 and up. We're in good shape.
Good. We're good. Okay, we can't. They can't call us. Because otherwise you could do that like a 26-year-old. Yeah. She's 23.
Silver Alert for a lowered red Civic.
Didn't show up at her senior college biology class today. We're a little worried about her. Do a
large
Silver Alert.
Spoiler on the back of a Kia.
That's the one. There it is. So the next day, a relative, everybody's searching constantly from the air, from the ground. All the relatives are searching. A relative finds their car.
Wow.
It's parked at the hospital.
Oh.
Maybe they're at the hospital. They're not at the hospital, though. That's the thing. Yeah, they go in and they're like,
right?
Yeah, they go in and they're like, oh, maybe our parents are here. Nope, they're not there. So they tell the police, though. And now Jack Sexton of the police comes in here. How you doing? Officer Jack Sexton. Oh. I'm here. I do emergency calls.
Yeah.
I do, accidents. And also I do bachelorette parties, just in case you're interested. Jack Sexton. Here's my card.
He's a step above Paul Holes in the sexy cop department.
He's Jack Sexton. Here I service all your parties and all your needs. What do you have, a missing child and you're horny? Well, good news for you. Yeah. Jack Sexton's on the case.
You are in luck. I have sex in my last name.
So, obviously, if Jack Sexton's on the case, everything's going to be fine because he's going to find you, and then he's going to strip down and he's going to show you the goods.
He's got sex in his name.
You're going to feel better. Even the men he catches in fines are like, you know what? I feel better now. I feel like I know what a man is now that I've seen Jack Sexton in action. So,
Officer Sexton. No, call me Jack. Jack
Sexton.
Yeah,
it couldn't be a more pornier name than Jack Sexton. It sounds like, is there a porn star named Jack Sexton? I bet there is. I bet you there is, or there has been.
And now with the invention of sexting, it literally is a thing. His last name is an actual thing to do.
Jack Sexton. He's Sexton.
If you're lonely enough. Call me if you want, or just text.
Or just text. Or give me a Jack Sexton.
First reply, always a dick pic.
Well, that's his, even to like his mom.
Yeah.
He's got an auto signature that's a dick pic on everything. He's like, Mom, dinner Sunday? Dick pic comes at the end of it just to show. It's his auto.
I'm busy at the moment. Be with you in a sec.
So Jack Sexton, you know what he's there to do?
What is that?
He's there to inspect something. He's going to look it over ever so closely and inspect it. He's going to look at the car. He's going to inspect its curves. He's going to look it over.
Attention.
He's going to get in. He might get his hands greasy from the engine shaft.
Run his fingers down the seams.
He's going to run his fingers around the wheel, up and down the seats. Oh, Jack Sexton. So he inspects the car. That's what he's there to do. And to inventory it. Oh, yeah. It's locked. Luckily, he, with his romantic speak, it opens for him just on, he gets down and he goes, "You want to open for me, don't you?
Spread your doors for me."
It's me again. And then he rubs the door. And they pop open wide, both
of them. Same,
pow!
Same time.
And the hood flies up. The hood flies up. Spread eagle, fucking Suzuki. So there's no keys in it, and the windows are up. So it's locked, no keys, windows are up. Like someone, left their car somewhere and locked the doors, like people do. No signs of mud on the car. which means it hadn't been moved since Sunday night or Monday morning because there's mud everywhere else. There'd be mud on the car. So it's been sitting there. The car is parked on the east side of the hospital directly in front of the entrance, which, again, looks like we park here, we go in. So Jack Sexton, though, he's not going to take a locked door for an answer. No. He goes and gets a skeleton key.
Oh.
Skeleton key will open even the most resistant locks. Is what he'll open. The tightest locks, the most resistant locks. He calls it his booze, is what he says. It's like, he goes, I use this like my booze. It's just like a lubricator, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And then he winks at all the ladies and opens the door.
Makes him pliable.
That's what it is. So he opens it and he dusts the rearview mirror and the glove compartment. He fingers the glove compartment to make sure.
He does.
He fingers through the papers and the files in the glove compartment. He fingers the registration for a bit to make sure he's got the right car. He then removes samples of dirt and grass from the frame bumper. The inventoried contents of the car. He does all this, and Sexton noticed something, though. Sexton keeps an eye out. Sexton's always looking for new information.
Very attentive.
Very attentive. He's an attentive lover, Jimmy. Yeah. Sexton noticed that the front seat was quite close to the steering wheel. He said, well, maybe the steering wheel's hot like I am, and someone just wanted to be close to it. But it indicates that this car has been driven by a very short person, not Edwin or Wilma, who aren't that short, like way up closer than they would be. So that's an issue there. So Larry Hoyt, who's their nephew, by the way, he calls an attorney with whom he'd done business in the past, and he said, listen, I don't trust these fucking cops in small town Nebraska here. Yeah. Do you know the name of a really good private investigator that I can call? And the lawyer gives him a private detective. Yeah. Now, normally we would say, you would hear that and go, well, that seems extreme, and let the cops do their thing. Yeah. But if you've listened to this show, you go, yes, if you live in a small town and someone you love is murdered, call a private investigator immediately. Don't let the game warden and the mayor come over and trample the trial. Don't. They're going to fuck it up, as we've seen.
Well, a lot of times a private investigator is retired from doing police work and is a little better at this.
Maybe. Oh, yeah, or he's just, I don't know. But it doesn't seem to work.
Your money.
Either way, as we see that a lot. We've seen that, too. People who've done nothing. They were just robbing people. So they recommend Robert Sawden. He is a World War II veteran, wounded in the fighting for Normandy. So he's a Normandy beach stormer who was wounded after D-Day. So, that's a tough son of a bitch. That's a hero right there. Yeah. He also was a detective on the Lincoln police force, so at least a city that has people in it, know. He recently retired, opened up a PI office. He's known as a very good interrogator. He's good at getting his answers, and he also has a lot of connections in law enforcement all across Nebraska because he had a long career. So he comes on October 1st, $150 a day. That's an 8-hour day, plus expenses. 1973 money. That's expensive.
He's killing it.
That's like $1,000 a day now, plus
Fuck
expenses.
The murderer. He's the one killing.
He is crushing right now. Then again, if they're like, we've flown over his house 5 times, we've done this, or he's just cha-ching. These people have money, maybe, but he actually does a good job here. So right away, Kay, the daughter who originally brought this whole thing to their attention, they said her behavior, she seems unsettled, agitated, all this type of shit. It just seems very odd here. So a family member gave another family member of hers a large plastic bag full of pills and told them not to let Kay have access to them under any circumstances, just in case she tries to kill herself.
Oh.
Which is, again, it's, if that's a concern, there's obviously Kay has some, there's some problems here.
We took him out of Kay's house?
And these are Kay's pills.
Wow.
But they're thinking she's kind of mentally not doing well right now, and they don't want her to have access to anything that she could hurt herself with. So, anyway, they were scared of that. So now people, while they're there, family members stay at Kay's house. And, they said that she was just bizarre. Like her house, she lives closest to the parents, so it becomes kind of like the family investigation headquarters is Kay's house. Everybody's in and out. People are staying there. One night here during the stay, Kay woke her daughters in the middle of the night to move them from their bedroom to another bedroom.
Not Kay's bedroom?
No. Just a different bedroom. Yeah. Told them, stay here, sleep here. Then a little while later, she went back and moved them back to the original bedroom.
She's like, shell gaming her children?
Yeah, and she's like, find the toddler,
find
huh?
The kid's murderer.
Find the kid, find the toddler, follow the toddler, and she's moving it around. That's weird behavior.
Yeah,
and everybody,
that's not okay.
Yeah, all of her relatives that are there, they're like, what the fuck was Kay doing? Why'd she move the kids? And they asked her, and she didn't have any explanation for it. She said, I just did it because I had to. They're like, okay.
Yeah.
Kay's fucking weird, man. So on the Friday, the 28th, Sergeant Jack Sexton returns to McCook from North Platte and interviewed Kay Hine, Donna Elmer. Well, interviewed is that's a little too formal way to put it here. I mean, it's a little formal to say interviewed when no one's wearing pants, if you know what I mean. I'm just kidding.
More like outerviewed.
Outerviewed, if you know what I'm talking about, you know. He's like, listen, ladies, you're in a lot of trouble. And then he rips off his pants and music starts playing. And he starts humping in their face. Yeah. And then Wilma and Edwin come out. This was all a trick to get you guys a really good stripper. That's all it was, everybody. Everybody's fine.
Elaborate, right?
Yeah. Edwin rips off his dress shirt, swings it around, throws it. He starts dancing too. Wilma starts oiling up his chest. Really turns into something. So, no, none of this.
That's a scene.
That's a scene. That is not what happened here. So Jack Sexton interviews Kay Hine, Donna Elmer, Owen Elmer, who is Donna's husband, Larry Hoyt, Roger Hoyt, and Herbert Hoyt. Yeah. Sons, nephews, all sorts of people.
Hoyts.
Yeah. Now, Jack Sexton has been updated by everybody on this investigation, and Kay repeated information here that she thought that one of her, quote, sexual partners might be the people who could possibly be responsible for this.
Well, what is going down, Kay?
Okay, let's talk about, like I said, forget now, take the Hoyts out of your mind for a minute, because it's going to take a minute to get back to them of how they ended up in this mess, all right? So, Harold Noakes, let's talk about. Harold D. Noakes. Yeah. He is 45 years old. Roll your chair over, Jimmy. Yeah. Check him out.
Oh.
There he is.
Looks like the warden from the Shawshank Redemption.
I was going to say he looks like the bad guy dean in any college movie. Like he looks like he's trying to get John Belushi kicked off campus. Like that's exactly what he looks like. Or that what you said, the warden of Shaw, same shit.
Same guy, same personality. Yeah,
black glasses. The fucking hair is in the suit. He's a square as the day is long, is what he looks like here. Now Harold, youngest of four. He's successful, pretty successful guy. Just like his father, he was a county commissioner, which is commissioners are the kind of how counties work, governing body shit. He is also the Red Willow County county assessor as well.
Oh,
so tell you how big they assess the shit for tax purposes, land and all that sort of thing. He was employed by the State Department of Roads as an area foreman in McCook, Nebraska here. He and his wife, Ina, E-N-A. E-N-A is Ina, right? Or would that be Ina? It's Ina.
Ina? It's got to be
Ina. We're going with Ina. I don't really care at this point. They were married for 27 years in 1973 and have even lived at the same address for the last 20 years. 903 East G Street in McCook. There you go. He is Harold Dwayne Noakes. He's born 1928 here in April. He's 6'2", muscular.
Yeah.
He's a big, he does road work. I mean, he's a big, strong, big, strong guy. As you see, he's still got some hair on him. Yeah, good coif of dark hair. He's a good athlete. He was second team all-conference in basketball which is, pretty good here. Known as a hardworking guy, friendly, well-liked by his peers at school, popular kid. This is having a hell of a life here. He meets his future wife, Ina Nadine Ambler. Mm-hmm. She was born in 1929, and they both lived in Danbury, Nebraska, is where they came up here. Ina she's like 5 foot tall, very short, thin. Everybody says attractive, though. Short, thin, attractive woman. Now, they're married in 1946.
Jesus,
that's crazy, man.
It's a different time.
Different fucking time. He was 18 and she was 16 when they got married. God damn. They were in a rush a little bit because Ina was 1 month pregnant at the time. So 1946, when you knock a girl up, you better either leave town or marry her. Those are your options. Or her father and brothers will kill you. That's how it works.
Woman out of her, or we're chasing you down.
That's it. In western Nebraska, like, hey, asshole, this isn't fucking San Francisco or, fucking Chicago. You can't just impregnate people and move into the crowd.
Make an honest sophomore out of her.
Make an honest sophomore out of my daughter, please. Right now. 16. And pregnant and married. Mm-hmm. God damn. Her friends, though, say that this is kind of what she wanted. She chased Harold all through high school. He was all she was ever interested in. They even said that they thought, based on stuff she said to her, she said to them that she kind of tried to get pregnant so Harold would marry her, because she wanted to marry Harold and get out of her parents' house and hopefully leave Danbury. Yep, tale's oldest time. She wants to get out of Danbury and get on to the big city like McCook. You know how it goes. So Harold actually graduated from high school about a month after he got married. Uh-huh. He's a married man graduating high school. And Ina, though, never received her diploma because she was married and pregnant and never went back. So Harold went out to work for the county, operating a road maintainer. I don't know what the fuck that is. Sounds heavy and hard to do.
Yeah, sounds like, it's a big
drive
equipment. Yeah,
paving equipment, a smoothing of some kind, maybe.
It could be a grader if it's a dirt road. I imagine it could be a host of different equipment.
Maybe. He had that job for a while, a few months. Then he worked for the Union Pacific Railroad as a telephone caller.
What?
Just calling people. Hi.
That's a job?
I don't know if that's like a cold caller. Hi, ever want to go on a train? Yeah. He called railroad crews to report for duty.
Okay.
I guess, I don't know, they don't have a schedule back then, or maybe that was emergency, call people in for emergency stuff.
That is interesting.
Their first daughter is born December 19th, 1946, and they moved to Denver at that point, where he worked for the Public Service Company of Colorado for 3 months. And Denver was boring, though. They didn't like Denver. This is 1940s Denver. Right. It's kind of a cowboy cattle town at that point. Yeah. It's not really not much.
There's no gold rush.
Not very cosmopolitan then. So they come back and go back to Nebraska, where it's even less. Yeah. And they go back there and to Danbury. Then she's back in her hometown, exactly what she didn't want, and they buy a small cafe, and Harold gets his old job back as a road maintainer.
Okay.
So that's what they do.
That's a long way to go to get back to start.
That's what I mean, right back to where he started. They had another child in 1950, born on Valentine's Day, 1950. Yeah. They're in the cafe business for a little while, and then they move to McCook, where they buy the Moffett Cafe. And they operate that for a few years, and they sell it in 1956. They end up taking the ownership back. The owner had problems, so they operate it again till 59 when they sell it completely. And during the time they had the cafe, they did everything. They did from washing the dishes to the meat butchering. Wow. They did it all, just the two of them. So, I mean, it was a two-person operation right from that to that. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this hero bread is a
It's
good
terrific.
step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. Yeah. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on your, every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
After selling the cafe, Harold went to work as a fireman for the Burlington Northern Railroad.
How does this guy just do this? This is amazing.
He was operating on an as needed basis. Basically, he was like an extra guy they would call in for a bad fire. And
he's already done 3-4 jobs that people have as careers forever,
whole careers. And he's like, "Don't like that? I'll do this." Lives in different places. Yeah, you own a restaurant. You work at the power company. You are a road maintainer.
Worked for the
railroad.
Did utility? He did everything. Railroad, these
utility.
are all union career jobs.
Yeah, these are all decent jobs where you can, have a pension and stuff.
Fascinating.
So in 1964, though, the railroad eliminated the position of fireman on all of its train crews to lower their labor costs, and Harold was shit-canned. So he went back to work for the Department of Roads in McCook again. He ends up being a foreman of the road crew in 1973, where we were catching all these people up. He is the foreman of the road crew, and he does all that stuff, oversight of like bridge repair and all that kind of shit. He's an important guy on the road. Yeah. If you like driving and not falling through the earth, this guy's important to you. Yeah. So Ina, after they sold their cafe in McCook, she started working for Harold's father in the office of the Red Willow County Assessor, where they said she was a great employee, but they also called her cold, calculating, and aloof. Those were the things that kept coming up. Everybody says that about Ina. She's kind of a cold one, from what everybody says. It's kind of strange. His father retired as the assessor, Harold's father. So Ina wanted to be appointed to replace him, but instead, the county boards thought that she lacked the public relations skills to do the position, and so they gave it to somebody else. And she was pissed, very pissed. So she leaves the assessor's office, finds a job with the McCook Public Schools as a secretary and business manager. So very square people.
Yeah,
he's a guy who works for the Department of Roads, and she works at the school as a secretary and a business manager. They're very, very square here. She, by the way, also has like a big old bouffant. She's got a nice hairdo, man. She's got some 70s, like a leftover beehive almost. She's got some shit going on here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now, he's starting to look a little leathery by now, but he looks like rugged leathery. He hasn't gotten to the point. He's like old school Robert Redford, where he's like,
Even Robert Redford in Last Castle is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, he's to the point where you're like, oh, he's rugged, not, God, how much cancer does that man have, in his face? Jesus.
Well, this guy's got stories. Look how fucking sexy that is.
No shit. Now, Ina, really good with guns, by the way.
Really?
Really good with guns. They're both great hunters and fishermen people. Fisher people. I don't know what the fuck you want to say. I think it's still fishermen. Either way, they're fishers. They're good fishers. Ina was a good shot.
Yeah.
Harold belonged to a bunch of gun groups and that did sport shooting. He also fished, camped, did boating, a lot of outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
Huge outdoorsman. Ina, by the way, just as into it. One high school classmate described Ina as, quote, being able to shoot the eye out of a hawk.
Well, that's a fascinating.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
She sounds scary, dangerous.
Yeah, they're described as a quiet couple who, quote, pretty much keeps to themselves and thought to be well-liked and well thought of as just square, normal Nebraskans. So, are they always this boring, though? Is that just their public facade? Yeah. I mean, when they come home, are they that boring? Well, let's find out what they do in their private lives, shall we?
Behind closed doors between the sheets, James.
Let's enter two more people here.
Yeah.
Enter Kay Hine. Sound familiar? That is Wilma and Edwin's daughter, Hoyt's daughter, Kay, who started the whole investigation, and her husband, Dwayne Hine. Okay, Kay's 30 at this point. Now, Harold and Ina were mutual friends of Kay and Dwayne for several years. They just knew each other. They would, once in a while get together for dinner or barbecue or whatever. Yeah, just one of your couple friends. Then, sometime between 1960 and 1970, or 1969, 1970, in there, things are loosey-goosey, man.
Oh, okay.
It's Woodstock. Chicks are dancing around with their tits out, you know what I mean? Even in Nebraska, it's a different story. And Harold and Kay start getting it on together.
Yeah.
They start having an affair.
Okay.
So
Behind the backs?
Oh, yeah. No, not in front of them. They say it's pinochle night, and they go, you guys get started. We're going to fuck over here on the couch for a while. Give us like a rating afterwards. Let us know how we did.
Pinochle, speaking of knuckles, mine's in your wife.
All the way, baby. All the way to the hilt. Both knuckles, pal. Yeah. So
I thought you said two knuckle. I'm sorry.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I thought you said three knuckle. Not pinochle. Three knuckle is what I heard. Gee, I'm sorry, sweetheart. Yeah, that was a little much. So anyway, they start having an affair on the other two. So now let's talk about Kay for a minute here.
Yeah.
What kind of person is Kay? I mean, her parents are missing. We know later on, as of right now, she's just starting to get down with Harold. Kay and her sister Donna we'll talk about here. Donna's 3.5 years older than Kay and doesn't really like her. Not a real big fan of Kay. No, never really liked her. Kind of. A little bit. Everybody said she was jealous because she was like, 3.5 when this baby was born, and then it was another girl.
Yeah.
She was the only girl till then, and now there's another girl. So there's a tension. And at the same time, they said that Donna also calls her extremely manipulative.
Okay.
Extremely. She said at an early age, she knew how to get her parents to do what she wanted them to do. Mm-hmm. They used to have a thing where they'd say, you wash and you dry the dishes. Kay claimed that, this is wild, she claimed she had allergies that were exacerbated by drying dishes. They took her to the doctor, no medical, they couldn't find anything. But she said drying the dishes made her sneeze so often that she just couldn't keep doing it. So sorry,
I'm allergic to chores.
She said, I'm allergic to drying dishes. I just can't.
Yeah.
So they let her get away with it and shit like that. She also said, Donna says, that anytime anything big was happening with her, Kay would do something to fucking like have a breakdown and ruin the whole thing. They when Donna and her husband told Kay that they were engaged, Kay said, "Oh, that's wonderful. That's great. Oh my God, that's terrific." And then somehow ended up in the hospital after that. So yeah, the parents didn't get to, Wilma and Edwin didn't get to hear about the engagement till the hospital when they were sitting next to Kay's hospital bed that night.
Kay needs attention too.
She needs a lot, exactly, a lot of attention. She's hospitalized twice at different psychiatric hospitals in Omaha. Once was in the spring of 1960, just as she was graduating from high school. And then another time is in 1970, which is around the time she's having an affair with Harold. We'll talk about that. They were both short. They never said she had a diagnosed mental illness of any kind, which it's also the late 60s and early 70s. So they weren't the best with that.
Right. There wasn't a lot of diagnosing. And even if they did diagnose it, the treatment wasn't necessarily good, I guess is the word, but it didn't really work. Good. It just didn't work.
We know it. We've talked about it before. That's when you got the, I don't know, cheer up, bitch. Right. What do you want? Like, that's what they would say to you.
Ice pick in the eye. Which would you like?
Either that or we can shock your brain until you're less sad. Like, those are the only things we can do for you. Just crazy.
Hook your nipples up to this Lincoln's battery? Was that what you want?
All right. Go ahead. Lay her down. Fuck it. They didn't really have much to do. So they said they didn't really treat her. They just she's just there for a couple days, kind of relaxing. They figured. They said that she was, they thought maybe she was malingering. They didn't know what it was. Everybody says, though, all the siblings say that Kay is the one the parents are always doting on because they kind of have to, because she's going to force them to.
Otherwise, it's a fucking mess.
A little bit. She did a lot of shit in high school: band, drama, clubs, all sorts of other shit. She was doing tons of stuff here. She gets her diploma, graduates from high school. She had been with Dwayne all through high school, and it's Dwayne, by the way, with a D-E. Dwayne.
D-E-W?
D-E-W. Dwayne Hine. I hope it's Hine, because if it's Dwayne Hain, that's terrible.
It's definitely Hine.
It's got to be Hine. Yeah. So they dated through high school. They got married when they both graduated in 1961. They were chosen king and queen of hearts at the Valentine's Day dance in their senior year. Dwayne, who preferred to be called Dwayne, not Dwayne.
Yeah, but it's Dwayne.
It's Dwayne. He was the star running back on the undefeated football team in 1960 here. A very popular guy. One of his classmates and football teammates described him as, quote, one of the nicest, most decent guys I've ever known. Yeah. So once their marriage is going, though, by the 69-70, she's banging Harold, so obviously there's an issue.
Yeah, it's not going great.
Clearly there's
Dwayne
an issue.
Know?
No, not at first.
No, I mean, does he know that it's not going great?
I think so. Yeah, that he knows.
Yeah.
That he knows. She said that and she files for divorce in 1971. As a matter of fact,
yeah,
he's aware that he found out when someone handed him divorce papers.
Yeah,
I think everything's fine.
Looks like it's going bad.
Dwayne? Well, no, that is your name. It's right here on these legal documents I have to hand to you. Your wife's divorcing you. So Kay here, she ends up. There's a woman here who she hangs out with who rented a basement apartment in their home. And she tells this woman, Kay tells this young woman, that she and Dwayne pretty much got married because they wanted to fuck a lot. That's why they got married back in the day when they were, 18 years old.
Sure.
And, it needed to be, after a while, if your whole thing's based on teenage fucking, once you're like 26 and you have like a kid and a mortgage and you have to like do stuff, that's not going to last. You got to find something else you can lean on as a couple.
Yeah.
So she told her friends and told everybody else later on, she said, the reason why we broke up was because Dwayne made no effort to accommodate my sexual needs and desires. That's why. Yeah.
The sexual pressure was all on her end.
Yeah, he's not dicking me down the way I would appreciate a dicking down. And I don't like it.
Teenage relationships are the boy pressuring the hell out of her to finally fuck.
She's the horny one here.
Yeah.
That's the thing. She broke up with him because she said, too horny for you. Sorry.
You can't take it.
You're not cutting it. So she said that she was much more interested, or that she said he was much more interested in hunting and fishing than spending time with her and fucking her. And she was like, she's into kind of freaky shit too, and he just wasn't into it. He was just I'm gonna come home, fish, I'll hump on you missionary for about 3-4 minutes, and then you make me dinner. And what the fuck's wrong with that?
I'll throw it in you, leave it in you. You better hurry up and try to come because it's almost over.
It's almost over, pal. And then you can gut them fish I caught today. So
see you in a bit.
A lot of people said that the marriage wasn't wonderful. She said that his only interest, he was interested in his sexual satisfaction and outdoor sports, and didn't give a shit about her.
Oh, you mean he was a guy?
He was kind of a dude. And then in her divorce filings, she listed all that, and then said the reason was extreme cruelty, and those were the reasons why. That he didn't only cared about his own sexual satisfaction and was obsessed with outdoor sports to the exclusion of her. Extreme cruelty, otherwise known as extreme cruelty. If keeping your dick away from somebody's extreme cruelty, he must have an amazing cock. He must be like a Jack Sexton level cock on him.
He is, his sex must be incredible.
Bring that beautiful piece of meat over here. Let me tell. Oh, boy. Hold on. It just blocked out the sun for a minute. Wait.
This
has got to be amazing.
Fair. I haven't had it in a while.
No shit. Kay's family, though, told her during all this, because they would watch her belittle him a lot and, be mean to him. They told her that, listen, he's a nice fucking guy. He's a good father, and he deserves better than you. Stop treating him like that.
How about that?
Or you should divorce him because he deserves better than you. You're being a dick. They had 2 daughters, Brenda and Angela. And after the divorce, Kay is granted custody of the girls. And the Nebraska at the time did not have no-fault divorce until the end. That means you can just get a divorce because you want to.
Oh,
Up
really?
until the end of 1971, you had to allege and prove acts of cruelty, disloyalty,
That's
have
why
affairs.
She ran with that extreme cruelty bit.
Yeah, because you had to. It wasn't just I'm not happy. It wasn't a legal reason to get divorced.
Yeah.
So that was part of her proof there. So Kay also told her parents that Dwayne would be harsh to her sometimes, and also to the little girls, and he would verbally abuse them as well. She told her parents. So the Hoyts there, Wilma and Edwin, later learned from Dwayne and the girls, both the children, that Kay made it up completely. The little kid said, Dad never yells at us, and we've never heard him yell at Mom ever. He's super nice to Mom, and then she yells at him and tells him that his dick isn't enough or whatever. Right. I don't know. So they
Mom instigates, screams, give me that big, beautiful cock, and then Dad goes to bed.
Then Dad goes to bed, and then Mom drinks wine out of a box, I believe. I think that's what's in there. Wine, right? I don't know. It's pink. Let's just say that. She sits there and she drinks it.
Starts with an F. She's got it upside down. I don't know what it is.
I'm not positive.
I can't read it upside down.
I don't know French fucking wine names. Very fancy.
Yeah.
So anyway, they also learned from Dwayne, or the Hoyts said they were very sad because during the divorce, they gave testimony in court saying that our daughter complains to us about all this cruelty. And then later on, they were told by the kids that none of that shit was true, and they felt bad that they testified that way. Yeah. And so it was one of those things. So after the divorce, Dwayne moves to Yuma, Colorado.
What?
Yep, where he works for the Burlington Northern Railroad and ends up getting remarried.
That must be right on the border. I have no idea where the fuck that is.
No shit. I've never heard of Yuma, Colorado. No. And Arizona's nowhere. Yuma, Arizona's nowhere near the Colorado border.
No.
So it makes no sense. It's not like it's like, Lake Tahoe, which is in both states.
Yeah.
So back to the affairs that are going on here. So as a result of them hanging out together, Harold, while they were still married, Harold and Ina would hang out with Dwayne and Kay all the time. And it got to be more and more of a degree of frequency. Kay and Ina would have lunch together all the time because they both worked in downtown McCook. And then they would hang out. The Dwayne and Harold would hunt and fish, and they'd all go camping together and all that kind of shit. Kay didn't even like to camp, but she didn't mind camping when the Noakses were coming because Harold was there, so it was okay. Also, they like to dance as well. They like to dance at New Year's Eve dance at the Elks Club in McCook. God damn, that's the social event of the season, everybody. Kay kissed Harold at the stroke of midnight. January 1st, 1970. So this is before the divorce. And New Year's kisses are common, obviously. People kiss that people are not married to. But this was like, there was a lot. It was a strong kiss, they thought. It was a little too much.
More tongue than we expected.
More tongue than you expected. Yeah, everybody kind of looked at each other afterwards like, that was strange, wasn't it? Like a lot of raised eyebrows. A lot of corn farmers with raised eyebrows after that. I don't know. I think he fingered her. I'm not going to lie. He made a really quick motion down there. So they continued to hang out and see each other, and they'd play cards and do all that shit and go dancing in the winter, hunt and fish in the summer. Harold, though, not long after the New Year's Eve dance, Harold receives a phone call from Kay, and she tells him she needs to talk about a very important matter. This is before they have an affair. This is how it starts. She said, "Would you pick me up in your car, please? We have to talk about something very important." Yeah. So he said, sure. So they drove a short distance out of McCook to the west, and they immediately started fucking in the front seat of his parked car. Yeah. Like as soon as he pulled over to the side of the road, they started fucking. So that was it. So now, from then on, they start fucking 2-3 times a week.
Oh, boy.
Which is an aggressive affair. That's an aggressive affair. This is before anybody knows about it or anything like that.
High gear.
Kay is into sex a lot from what everybody says, and she tells everybody as well. She makes public during these times later on. Likes variation. She likes to do freaky shit. She's an adventurous one. Yeah. She's a freak, and her husband wasn't. So that's not going to work out in the end. Harold said later and told other people that she was a hard woman to satisfy. And he said she's 15 years younger than me, and also, super horny on top of that. It's tough to
and likes things that I didn't know you could do.
She's got a lot of good ideas, though. She's a real idea girl. Harold, though, this lasts for a while. He must be keeping up with her. So they keep going. While this is happening, Kay pretty much falls in love with Harold and starts telling him asking him to please leave his wife and marry her instead. She's like, I divorced my husband because I want to fuck you, and you're married. This is crazy. I've
been fucking a long time to get this kind of fucking. I've got it, and I'm not going to lose it.
Yeah, so by 71, she's like, I'm divorcing my husband. You divorce your wife. Let's do this. And he's like, I don't know. And he's hedging. How long you think you can hedge for,
That's a 6-month window right there, right?
He draws it out for 2 years. So that's a long time to be like, I know you divorced him and I'll work on this. That's a lot. That's a lot.
He is doing a great job, though, clearly, of giving her what she needs. Because 2 years, how does she stick around for 2 years?
That's what I'm saying. And
it must be fantastic.
Hanging on the end of it there. Must be strong enough to hang off of. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
So hanging on his every word and cock. Now, Dwayne probably should have realized what was going on before that, because coworkers had been telling him that they've seen Kay meet Harold Noakes on a road, like on a closed road near her parents' house before.
Yeah.
And they're like, they're sitting in a car on a closed road. What do you think they're doing there? Talking? And he was like, I don't know. He said he didn't believe it. And then he didn't believe it until Kay filed for divorce. And then
you got to believe it. You're forced to. She forced his hand.
Yeah. Now, Ina, obviously, Harold's wife, she suspects an affair because they're hanging out a lot, but she keeps it to herself. Yeah. She doesn't say shit about it. This is like Nebraska back then, where it was like you just keep it all down and keep it to yourself. And don't tell anyone what's going on.
The corn silo stays in the corn silo.
Yeah, that's the fucking thing. So finally, late spring 1972, she's being suspicious here, and Harold tells her that he can't stand the guilt anymore. I can't take it. I've been having an affair this whole time with Kay. Yeah. It's been going on for multiple years. This is fucking crazy. He basically ran out of excuses. Yeah. And the book written about this has a really good point. The guy says, quote, and I'll give you the name of the book too at the end, quote, businessmen, professional men can conjure up excuses to be absent from home in the evening, sometimes even an overnight. But a man charged with keeping the area roads in shape has little he can do at night when darkness obscures vision.
Yeah.
He can't be like, they need me on the road to manage a fucking tarring project at 9:30 at night. Like, it's not going to happen at the time. So he couldn't really, there's no emergency.
I knew this road was going to fail. I've been telling him for years. It just failed. I got to go do it all.
I got to do it. And he didn't do like emergency stuff. He did like planned projects. So there's no emergency to a planned project that's at night. So it's hard to do. So, it was very suspicious. So at this point, Ina's going to put a stop to this, right? I mean, Jesus Christ, you can't bang our friend for 2 years. This is fucking crazy, right?
What does she do? Does she just roll over and take a divorce?
She actually, you would either get her to put a stop to this or divorce him. She picks a third option.
Oh, my God.
Where she says, hey, can I join in? Not shitting you. This sounds amazing.
You've been doing this without me?
I want in, is what she says.
That's like telling your significant other, I've been going and getting ice cream twice a week for the past 3 weeks. She's like, I love ice cream.
Yeah, let's go get some. I'll come with you tonight. That's what she did. What flavor? What's their best flavor? Like fucking walking up in there.
Do they have cookie sandwiches? I'm coming with you.
I'm coming with you. That's what she did. She's going to go fucking lick the ice cream out of a cookie sandwich is what it sounds like.
Gross.
Oh, so I like ice cream and
an ice cream sandwich.
Ice cream and vaginas are both wonderful. I don't know what's gross there, Jimmy. They're both fine.
Well, that's not ice cream, James. It's very warm.
I get it. Either way, though, they're both good. So anyway, she says, fine, let's do it. So they end up getting into it. They start having threesomes. Fucking threesomes this guy's pulling. He's a fucking Nebraska road worker who looks like, no, this guy should not be having threesomes.
He doesn't look like the guy that's getting it.
No. The guy that gets threesomes looks like, how Johnny Depp dresses. He's wearing like curtains and he's got like, permanent eye makeup on. That's who has like threesomes with their wife and some third that they picked up. Not this guy.
Some third that his cock broke up or marriage.
Yeah. That's fucking wild. So they do. We don't know how excited she was about this, or if she might have been just doing this to, I want to hold on to my husband, so maybe if I try this.
That feels more likely.
That's possible. But either way, they're fucking all the time. So it's not like this happens once in a while. This is all the time. They're fucking, they've now it turns from their affair to just a constant threesome.
Wow.
It's crazy. So they're doing all this shit. Ina loves Harold, so she doesn't want to lose him. And she's 15 years younger, the other one too. Okay, so she might have felt like she had to keep up. So they would have luncheon meetings and all that sort of thing because they were good friends, and they would they're just fucking away. They said that, and Kay said that Ina participated in the sexual aspects with gusto. She was right into it. Wow. Yeah, come on, let's get on. You swing that way, I'll get over here, and he fucking drills you from that side. That's what I'm talking about.
Sit on my face.
She's planning. So the one weekend, this is one of their first threesome weekends here.
Okay.
4th of July, 1972. Harold Noakes called Kay and told her that Ina was going to Lake McConaughey, obviously named after
Matthew's
it's obviously
family,
it's the homeland of Matthew McConaughey. This is near Ogallala, Nebraska. They're going there to fish, and they said it's Nebraska's largest lake. Good fishing there. So Harold told Kay that she's welcome to join him and Ina, but the cabin only has one bed.
You know what that means?
Yeah, that's how this all started. So he and Kay had, this is before Ina had joined in yet, so they were talking about, it only has one bed, maybe we could do this. She said she would do it. He asked if she'd be willing to come to their home. Tell you what, before we do this, come over, we'll have a dry run threesome, or it'll be a wet run threesome, but we're going to have a run through this threesome.
Run, for sure.
We're going to make sure that we all vibe so we're not stuck in a camping trip together. 3 angry people in a bed is not going to work. So let's see if we have any kind of rhythm together, and we'll work it all out. Any sort of whatever. So Kay said that sure, let's do it. So she agrees. They went to the Harold and Ina's house later on that night. She took her daughters with her. Come on, kids, go and have a threesome.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, well, not with them, but you know what I mean. That sounded bad. Like her and the kids were going to engage in a threesome. That's definitely not what happened.
Still very weird, no matter how this shakes out.
It's very fucking strange. So she puts the daughters to bed in the spare bedroom, over there. Very nice. Tucks them in. She took her nightgown with her, and that was that. Kay talked about all sorts of shit. This is okay. I'll just read from the book here.
Please do.
Quote, Kay detailed at length the positions the parties assumed and the cunnilingus the women performed on each other while one of the pair was having intercourse with Harold.
Yes.
He engaged in vaginal and anal intercourse with them, and each performed oral sex on him. Harold was the ringmaster, suggesting various sexual positions, and displayed an innovative list of activities.
She's an angel.
Harold is sitting around going, what can I think of next? Okay. Check it out. You do this. And then they just do, like, this is like he's having a 16-year-old boy's dream, just sitting there going, oh my God, they'll just do whatever. Holy crap, this is so cool. That's what he's doing. He's having a field day.
The 16-year-old doesn't realize there's consequences to that shit.
Yeah, not at all. Jesus fucking Christ. So then they started meeting 2-3 times a week. They'd meet at her house. They'd meet at the Noakes' house. They'd go to fucking Harry Strunk Lake. They'd go to Lincoln to do things. It was just a threesome after that. This continues through March 73. So we're talking almost a year. This guy, I mean, he would have run out of ideas by then.
I don't know how he didn't run out of cum. Like, how do you keep doing this?
This guy is really, he's got to eat his Wheaties,
so
man.
dry.
This guy, what is his diet is what I want to know. He's got stamina. So he noticed in the fall that Kay's enthusiasm for the threesome had started to wane a little bit.
Yeah.
This might be an important thing. She hit her head on an open cupboard door in her kitchen and suffered a concussion.
Oh, God.
She was in the hospital after that for a couple of days with this concussion. And she, after that, they said her demeanor was different toward the threesome after she hit her head. They said she resumed fucking, obviously, but her attitude was different. Just doesn't have that gung-ho threesome attitude that you want, really.
I saw plenty of movies. Hit your head again. Maybe it'll come back.
That's the thing. Maybe you'll be horny again.
Yeah.
So now, while this is all happening, Kay's parents, the Hoyts, Wilma and Edwin, had become concerned about this. So you had a nice husband who treated you well and 2 kids, and you divorced them so you could fuck a married couple? This is weird. Like, they didn't say it that, straightforward, but that was kind of the gist of it. They thought that Harold maybe had a little bit too much control over her, is what they thought. At one point, he loaned her $600 so she could buy a car. At one point, she had a bad cold, and she didn't ask her parents to help. She asked the Noakeses to stay, if they could help her, and she stayed at their home rather than the parents' home. So they were, concerned. March of 73, the Noakeses and Kay, they traveled to Kansas City, Missouri, and stayed overnight, and then went to Salina, Kansas. They went dancing after they ate dinner, and Kay complained to Harold that he spent too much time dancing with his wife and not enough time dancing and paying attention to her.
There's the consequences.
You can't. I don't know how you can't balance that. You know what I mean? This is why if you have like twins, you got to buy them like the same Christmas present. You know what I mean? Like, you can't. They're going to kill each other over it otherwise. Not that he's a Christmas present, but that's the way Kay's looking at cock at this point. Like,
You can't if there's three people that are all involved with each other and they all have feelings for each other, one way or another, somebody's going to get jealous. I don't care if it's there's too many moving parts. Too many.
Absolutely. There's no way to keep that balanced like that. None. So, yeah, I mean, Ina Kay started thinking like he's never going to leave Ina.
Yeah.
Like she thought eventually she'd wrestle him away from Ina, but why would he leave her? He's got 3 of them now. He's got 2 fucking women now that do whatever he feels like.
I'm not
He's sticking
anybody.
around.
I'm staying right here in this situation. This is the one I like.
Yeah. So they get back to the hotel and Kay gets really mad and calls Harold a son of a bitch and fucking yells at him.
Yeah.
So Harold slaps her.
Oh.
Yeah, this is getting way out of hand. This is supposed to be fun, everybody, not fucking violent.
Can't be greedy.
So he knocked her down and gave her a black eye.
Oh my!
And that's awful. And she demanded that she wanted to go back to McCook, and they left right away. They drove all night, got home, and that was that. So after that. There's no more threesomes.
Yeah,
kind of ends the threesome train here. And they would but Harold and Ina would both call her to come back, and she didn't want to. Even Ina was like, "You're gonna come over and fuck us or what?" And she's like, "No, I don't think so." So this is from an interview later on. They asked Kay, "Why did you stop participating in these sex activities with the Noakses?" She said, quote, "I couldn't take it anymore. I loved Harold, and I was so sure that Ina wouldn't go for this, and I was so sure that he would leave her, and I just wanted to be a person, a whole person, and he didn't want that. I wanted him alone."
I participated in the threesomes because I thought that was going to get Ina to go no, but she was into it. God damn it!
She thought, oh, cool, he's going to tell her about the affair, and now he should be here in about an hour with his suitcases after she kicks his ass out, and instead she got a phone call going, "Come over and lick my wife's box." Like that's a completely different.
And she's like, "Fine, I'll do it," and shut her up and make her say she doesn't want that, and then she does want that. God damn it!
God
of all
damn
the
it!
Things.
Shit. So they said, you didn't want to share him with his wife, and she said, "No, I tried. I really tried." And so she would, and that's kind of how it went. And they said, "Do you have feelings or any reason to believe Ina Noakes had any feelings or affection for you in a sexual way?" And Kay answered, "She always said it helped their life an awful lot and that it wasn't the same without me." Yeah, there's a missing person. So they ended up... They keep trying, though, to get Kay to come back. April of 1973, Ina Noakes is talking to Kay on the phone. All right, so they're still talking. Ina said that Kay sounded very different. When Harold arrived home from work, they went over to Kay's house to check on her. Let's go check on her. After they arrived, Kay was acting strangely, and I guess her daughter did something very, very small, very minor, and Kay slapped her like really hard, and they were like, "Oh my God." So they like grabbed her and like, "Fucking Kay, relax. What the fuck are you doing? Why'd you do that?" She became hysterical, started freaking out, and then threw an empty pill bottle at them.
Oh my God.
And apparently, and then she came over and stuffed a $20 bill in Harold's shirt pocket and told him to buy flowers for her girls at her funeral.
What?
That's what she said. So they worried that Kay had taken the pills. So Harold calls Kay's mother, Wilma, and she calls Edwin, and the Noakeses stay with Kay until Edwin comes over, picks Kay up and the kids, takes her to a clinic. Okay. So she goes to a doctor. She didn't overdose on pills. She didn't take anything. She just did that. That was it. She just did that. Yeah. So from then on, she gets home. She's mad at Harold. She gives one more, like, "Leave your wife for me." He says no. So then she goes off on basically any guy she can find. She's trying to find. She's trying to fill the gap of this. All sorts of people. You got me. Thank you.
Back.
Sorry. I had to.
So she fills it in. Go on.
She fills it in.
With everybody, huh?
With everybody. Yeah, her boss, some guy she looked at, a car, the dealer from the car.
Oh, my God, the car salesman, too.
Car salesman, bunch of construction workers, some ex-convict guy that she knew before she went in.
Oh, my God.
So she puts, hey, you know what? You're a free woman. Do whatever the fuck you want. She's divorced. She can bang as many people as she wants, but she's doing it to try to make Harold upset. And she even tells everybody that. I'm fucking everybody. He's not even noticing. That's what she says. So she acknowledged that this happened during the summer of 73. She said that she tells people as she wanted to get Harold to marry her, basically. So he gets so mad, basically. He does all this. He does get jealous and mad at her to the point where one night he poured a weed killer on her front lawn and killed all of her grass and damaged her shrubs and trees. Maybe it's that house from the real estate report that she lived in.
He painted burnt yellow too.
Painted it a shitty yellow. She didn't know who did it, but she suspected Harold. Yeah. One night, Harold told Kay he would call her and just break her balls and yell at her that she was going to be sorry that she ended the arrangement. And then he destroys her lawn. He also told her that I paid for all of our trips. I did all this shit. I paid for everything. Right. So she came over and gave him $400 in cash. Like, well, there, I paid you back. Is that good? Will you leave me alone now? He said he didn't want it, but then she wouldn't take it back. So Harold also told her during that she gave him money. He wouldn't take it. She wouldn't take it back. So he called her a, quote, 2-bit whore, which is the opposite of what just happened. She just gave you money. That's
the
wrong time.
What are you doing, man?
No shit. He also said that she needed a red light on her front porch to advertise her profession.
Oh, sir, you better calm down.
Shortly thereafter, she received a package in the mail, and it contained a light bulb painted red.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly from Harold. Mm-hmm. Then there's graffiti that starts popping up, okay? The sheriff's office receives complaints from two of Kay Hines's alleged sexual partners, okay? These are people that said their names are being... They put... Not only is she a whore, they'll put who she fucks on there. They're like,
no!
People are spray painting scorecards, man. It's fucking ridiculous.
Just writing her body count all over town?
Highway signs on bridges, overpasses and shit. They're doing this. Park benches, rest area shelters, the public restrooms all over the place.
Just on the chance that she'll come by and see it?
Yeah, or somebody will tell her about. It's a small town. I saw it said that you did this and that with this person. Where'd you see that? The overpass over the 40? Like, that's crazy.
The overpass by the Hardys says you're a whore.
He says you're a whore. One of the graffiti says, Kay Hine is a good fuck, ask, and it had the guy's name on there.
Man.
So some of the graffiti was in ladies' rooms in rest areas, which is crazy. They believe the sheriff ends up believing that all the ladies' rooms ones were painted by Ina Noakes, right. And they think everything else was done by Harold. But a lot of her sister, though, later on will say she believes till her last breath that Kay did a lot of them herself for attention. Which would be kind of up her alley, but, I don't know.
Oh, that's another level of nuts, man.
Yeah, so Donna mentioned soon after she turned down a request by Kay to babysit Kay's children while Kay traveled out of town with one of her boyfriends. Yeah. Right after that, she said, graffiti accusing Donna of being, a whole slut or whatever the fucking word. Donna is this, appeared on a bridge near their home, near Donna's home. So she said, that was probably Kay, I would assume, because no one else fucking was mad at me. So Kay was contacted by other guys and denied any... She would, when contacted during the investigation, she would deny that she had sex with the people that it said in the graffiti. Uh-huh. So they were like, okay, is it these guys? Should we go look at them? And she's like, I don't even know those guys. Why would they say that? So it's tough. She said one of the guys she'd been friends with, but not had sex with. So she doesn't understand it, basically. As it goes on, more obscene messages would appear all over the county, in Hitchcock County, which is west of McCook, on county roads around all this, on Indianola, where her sister lives. All sorts of shit here. During the second time they questioned Kay about it, she admitted an affair with Harold Noakes, and she told him the whole story. She said she had sex with one of the men mentioned in the signs, but not all of them. Uh-huh. And she also named 3 other local men that if a sign comes up with their name on it, it's true.
Just in case you see this name, did them.
Did that. That one's true. And also, someone wrote on her house, quote, hot ass bitch on her house. in
like
black
it.
crayon.
Write it on my house. I like it.
In black crayon.
Tell everybody.
So in June 1973, Edwin Hoyt, her dad, accuses Harold of attempting to blackmail Kay and repeats the accusations around town and to everybody else. Sometime during that month, Harold stopped to see Edwin Hoyt at the Valls Brothers plumbing shop where Edwin worked and asked him how Kay was getting along. He was talking to him about Kay, and Edwin was angry with Harold and wasn't giving him too much in responses. He was giving him real short answers. And Edwin also accused him of blackmailing Kay because of the $400.
Right.
You took money, so, blah, blah, blah. So June 1973, another day in June, shortly after noon, Ina calls Kay and told her that she cut her hand using a box cutter and she's having trouble bandaging her hand. She asked, "Can you come over to my house and help me wrap my hand?" That's nice. So Kay arrives. She said the door's open, and Ina was standing in the living room with her hand wrapped in a towel. When Kay entered the home, Harold, who was behind the door, shut the door on her, and Ina removed the towel from her hand and admitted that she didn't actually cut herself.
Oh, my God.
This is frightening. She told Kay that Harold wanted to talk. "My husband really wants to talk to you." Ina said she would drive Kay's car to East Ward Elementary School, where Ina worked, and leave it there. I don't know why, but that's what they want to do. So Kay was nervous. Harold said, "Yes, we did, all this shit. We it's true. We tricked you to get you over here, but even though that's true, come into the basement with me."
What?
So I have something to show you in the basement. So she says, "Okay."
Oh, boy.
She goes into the basement. Harold hands her a loaded deer rifle. Hands her one. So now she's got the gun and says, "Shoot me." Puts his arms out and says, "My life without you isn't worth living. Shoot me."
Okay.
Put one in my fucking chest right now. Right? She wouldn't shoot him.
No.
And so she ran upstairs.
Yeah.
He followed her up there, and they talked for a little while. They're talking. Then he says, "Well, how about you fuck me then? You won't shoot me. How about you fuck me?" She wouldn't do that either.
Right.
So her emotions fall somewhere in the middle between killing and fucking, which is where, honestly, most people probably fall for most people.
Yeah. Just
Most of the
Yeah.
just about everybody falls under in between fucking and killing for me, somewhere in there. So in the middle there. So they're talking about it. She said, no. Harold went into the kitchen and Kay takes off. She ran for the door, down the porch steps, takes off across the street. Harold chases her, but then he slips and falls on the ground.
Yeah.
Falls off the stoop. He slipped on the stoop, fell 3 feet down, hurt his shoulder.
Yeah.
Fucked his shoulder up. Really
right
fucked
as he
it
got out the door.
Permanently fucks his shoulder up, by the way, too. Really fucks it up. He still, though, hops up to his feet, chases after Kay, catches up to her. In the process of catching up to her, he grabs her by her clothes and tears her dress and bra. So he really grabbed her and she really pulled away with, try to get the fuck away, and takes her in the house again. He yells at her and then warns her that the neighbors are going to talk now because I had to do that. So now you're causing the neighbors to talk because I had to chase you and drag you in the house like a psychopath.
Just throw your clothes down the road.
At this point,
with a separated shoulder.
Jesus. At this point, Kay says she's dizzy, throws up, and passes out. So, yeah. She regains consciousness. When she does, Harold calls Ina at the school and tells her what happened. He says, "I fell." He didn't say she's sick and we had a whole thing. He says, "I fell. I'm in a lot of pain. I need to see the doctor." Harold then makes Kay promise to return to the house after I go to the doctor. "Even though I dragged you back in, come back later, will you?" She agrees. So he drives her to her car at the school and he went to see a doctor. She promised to return, obviously, only to get her out of there. Right. So she never gets back. She never comes back again, even though Harold calls her a bunch of times. Finally, in July of 73, Harold's tired of unrequited love, and he pours sugar in her gas tank. So pretty soon he's going to like toilet paper a tree in her yard. Like he's doing this childish pranks here. This was parked right in front of her house. And so apparently after that, though, after July, that's the last you hear of Harold from Kay's point of view. So August of 73, Edwin and Wilma were going to a trip to Germany to see their son Stanley, who was stationed there in the Air Force. They're going to do that. So he had, it was a big deal for them to go there because they had not approved of his marriage. It's a fucking long story that I won't get into. We don't have time for it. So Kay and her two daughters and Edwin and Wilma all drove to Two Rivers, Wisconsin, and to see another member of their family before the Hoyts took off to Germany. So they left their car at Roger's home and flew from Germany, this is the place they went, and flew from Chicago to Germany. Kay had planned to hang out with Roger, or Whitey, that's his name in the family, for about a week and then go back to McCook. Before they got to even got to Wisconsin, Wilma, Kay's mother, had written about to her relative about Kay and her relationship with Harold and Ina. She didn't talk about the sex, but she just said that they had an unhealthy influence on her and they were worried about it and all that shit. She also wrote that Kay had been a real worry for her and Edwin, like always, and that currently she's dating a contractor in McCook, and she said she only sees Kay when Kay needs them to babysit or when she wants something from them. So, this whole letter was basically, our daughter sucks and we're mad at her. That was the whole fucking letter.
Yeah. Update.
So Edwin and Wilma take off for Germany. When that happens, Kay and Whitey have a huge argument. Mm-hmm. They've never been real close, but he was always closer to Donna and always thought that Kay was a manipulator, just like Donna did. So Whitey yelled at Kay for spending so much time with Harold and Ina. And, he said, maybe if you'd been willing to spend that much time with your goddamn husband, Dwayne, you'd still have your family together. Right. So they're arguing. Kay got it right in his face, right in his face, right there, like right, close, 2 inches. Nose to nose. Whitey told her that if she moved any closer, he would bite her. These are adults we're talking about. You move any closer, I'll bite you. So she did move closer, and he bit her.
He said so.
He bit her lip. She went upstairs, got the girls out of bed. Her children are sleeping, drags them downstairs, brings them in, sits them there, and says she wants to show them how adults fight. You're going to see how adults fight.
He bit my mouth.
Yeah, Whitey said later on that he was convinced that if Kay had a gun, she would have shot him right there. Mm-hmm. Like she was that fucking angry about it. So once the parents come back to the States, they were supposed to spend a couple days with Whitey, but Kay called them from McCook right when they got back and said, I broke my arm. I fell off the tailgate of a pickup and I broke my arm.
Come home.
So come home. Yeah. So they do. She was feeding the cattle, she said, or whatever she had to do. Mm-hmm. So later on, though, they learned that Kay didn't break her arm, even though she told the doctor she had. The doctor said, you're actually fine. There's nothing broken. So the doctor, just to shut her up, wrapped her arm and put it in a soft cast because she wouldn't leave. It was like, fine, there you go. You feel better now?
Give her a soft cast.
Yeah. So this is fucking crazy. So she knew her arm wasn't broken, but told her parents it was anyway. It's pretty fucking wild. So they get back on September 20th. Now, September 23rd, they host a family dinner where they talk about their family or talk about their travels. That's when they cook ham in the frying pan. Later on, the cantaloupe in the dishes in the kitchen. Right. That's what I'm trying to say. So Wilma cleared and washed all the dishes except for the pan she used to bake the ham, which was still soaking in the sink. About 7:30, the Hoyts got a telephone call from their son Herbert, who was in the U.S. Navy in Charleston, South Carolina. They both talked to him, got off the phone with him. Edwin and Wilma then relaxed at home that night, eating cantaloupe. Yeah. Little did they know that Harold and Ina Noakes were driving from McCook to their house that night. Uh-huh. They come over. Harold Noakes said he and Ina went to see the Hoyts in an effort to resolve the tension between the two couples resulting from the concern about their influence on Kay. So why this night, we have no idea. Or how do they even know they were back? They literally just got back. So Harold's in good physical condition, but his shoulder's fucked up still. So he said he feared Edwin Hoyt's temper and that he was a real strong guy. So he took his loaded .22 Ruger pistol with him, just in case. Tucked it into his waistband and, put his jacket over it. He had purchased the gun a few weeks earlier because he hurt his shoulder and he couldn't shoot with the rifle anymore.
Right.
Because his shoulder was fucked up. There's a full clip in the handle and one in the chamber. One in the chamber, 32 in the clip. No, it's not 32, but it's
probably 10.
Anyway, it's 10.
Yeah.
But, the safety on the gun was on, he said. And, so the Ruger was kind of new. So he said he knew he couldn't, shoot the long guns because of his shoulder. And that's why he has it. So Harold also says that he and Ina had gone out to eat that night, then drove to see his parents. They said the Noakes' they said that they then, their parents, his parents' house was dark. So they drove to the Hoyt home. And, So anyway, Harold would have had to bring the gun with him as they basically before dinner. Because he said he was planning on going to his parents' house. So why was he bringing a gun there? It doesn't make a lot of sense. So I don't think that's true at all. He had seen his parents, by the way, that day at noon.
Oh.
So why the fuck was he going back there? It seems odd. Either way, though, they got to the Hoyt home after 9 p.m., which seems late to visit these farm people.
It's a late time to show up.
They invited them in, the Hoyts do. The Noakeses had not given them any advance notice, didn't call, nothing like that. Harold asked the Hoyts to come back to our house in McCook with us. It's after 9 o'clock, but get in your car, follow us home, even though we could talk just as well here.
Pile in. Let's have a night drive.
He said, let's call Kay. We can ask her to join us, and then we could all discuss it. We'll have a big five-way. Yeah, it's going to be a five-way.
Orgy.
Yes, let's do it. So the Hoyts said, okay, which makes no sense. And no one even called Kay from the house there to see if she was home or anything. They're like, yeah, we'll go there, then we'll call Kay. So Kay was home. She had a babysitter who had gotten there at 6:30 who said she was waiting for a phone call and remained at home. At 9:30, though, she hadn't gotten her call yet. Did you hear what I just said?
She called the babysitter at 6 p.m. to come over and wait until I get a phone call. 9:30, no phone call.
Kay got a babysitter but didn't go anywhere.
Right.
She got a babysitter while she sat and waited for a phone call from 6:30 to 9:30. She still hadn't received. So she, even though there's a babysitter, she's been sitting by the phone waiting. Does this sound familiar?
Shit, man.
The Noakeses get there at 9. It just sounds a lot. So anyway, they asked Kay about this later on. They said, well, why'd you get a babysitter when you stayed home? And she was very evasive and wouldn't answer the question. So according to Harold here, they drove. This is so weird. They drove to the Hoyts. Okay. He takes the Hoyts in his car and drives them there so they can discuss on the ride. Meanwhile, Ina follows them driving the Hoyts' car.
Weird.
Which is super weird. No one can understand that. Now, during the trip back to the Noakes' house, Edwin Hoyt became agitated and accused Harold of being a blackmailer and a liar. Yeah. Well, there you go. So when they get to the Noakes' house, Harold parks the car in the driveway. Ina pulls the Hoyt car into the driveway behind them. And it's a small one-story home, 2 bedrooms, not a very big place, kind of a small home. And the neighbors are close, too.
Yeah.
The little house is kind of put in all together. So once they get inside, they're talking, but there's not a lot of space between the homes, and they're kind of cheap, thin-walled homes. Mm-hmm. So Harold says, listen, why don't we all go into the basement so our voice, the neighbors don't hear us if we raise our voices. That way we don't have to be quiet. So they said, okay. There's a family room, laundry room, and a bedroom, and the basement stairs led from the kitchen down to the family room. That's where the family room is. The door to the laundry room was next to the stairs, and the bedroom was farther down the way. Now, Edwin is the first person down the stairs. He enters the laundry room and motions to Harold to follow. The 2 women remained in the family room downstairs, unable to see the laundry room. That's in another room down there. The laundry room had a washer, a dryer, and a sink along one wall and a freezer along the opposite wall. So Edwin takes his glasses off and places them on the washer. Then, turning toward Harold, he said he's had enough of Harold's lies.
And enough of your shit.
Looks like Edwin's about to do some ass whooping, is what it sounds like. If he takes his glasses off, then calls you a liar, you're about to get your ass kicked by a farmer. That's what that says right there.
He's willing to take a punch. That's why he took him off.
That's why he took him off. So they're about 12 feet apart, and Edwin cocks his right fist and begins to move toward Harold. This is what Harold says later on, okay? So when Edwin was about 3 feet away, Harold says, he was right about to hit him, Harold pulled his pistol from his belt and with his left hand and without saying any word or warning, shot Edwin in the chest.
Wow.
He walked over, he said 12 feet away with his telegraphed punch, which seems like a bad fighting strategy that I don't really believe. So Wilma heard the shot, and both Ina and Harold will both say that Wilma said, quote, "Why didn't you kill Kay?" What? Like, why'd you kill him and not Kay? If you were mad at Kay, you should have just killed Kay. And she ran toward the steps. As she reached the second step, that's when Harold pops out of the laundry room and shoots her.
Oh, boy.
She falls backwards into a heap on the foot of the stairs, pile of a murder victim there. So they asked him later on whether if Edwin Hoyt knew he had a gun on him that night or if Edwin had seen Noakes draw the gun. Harold said he didn't know, but he said he did say he didn't say anything. He said he didn't tell Edwin to stop. He didn't pull it out and warn him. He didn't say, "I'll shoot." He didn't, nothing. He just pulled it out and popped him once. Mm-hmm. Also, the "why didn't you kill Kay" is a very weird thing for a mother to say after, I don't know. They must have really hated her if that's true. I don't know if that sounds made up. After the shootings, Ina ran upstairs to see if the noise had alerted the neighbors, to see if there's neighbors milling about in the yard. She gets back downstairs and told Harold that two of the neighbors who had been out on their porch with the porch light on had turned it out and gone inside. Harold told his wife told her to leave and told her that he's going to call the police after she's gone. Like, "I'll take care of you. You get out of here." Ina said, "Fuck no. I'll help you. I'm not getting out of here. I will eat pussy with you. You think I won't dismember a body? I'll do it." Not that that's, trust me, not even equivalent in terms of activities, but I'll do anything, whatever you bring up. What do you want to do? You want to learn how to disco dance? Great. That's next. It's coming out in a couple of years. I'll get into that too. I don't give a fuck. I'm up for anything. It's great.
I said I meant it.
He's one of these people where if you're like, "You want to go out to dinner?" You're like, "Yeah, what do you want? Seafood? Sure. Chinese? Sure." You can bring up anything. She'd be like, "Great."
Whatever you want.
Harold stated later on that he examined the Hoyts to make sure they were dead, and they were. So Harold said he went into the bathroom and vomited. That's what he said here. He said then he returned to the basement where he and his wife discussed what to do. He said something has to be done. We either have to do something with the bodies or call the cops. We can't just leave them here, so we got to figure it out. So Ina said that, "Listen, we need to think about our two kids." And Harold said, "Yep, we got to get rid of the bodies. That's all we can do.
Okay.
We got to do it. Got to get rid of them." So they said, that could be the end of everything here. So Harold, his shoulder was so fucked up, he couldn't carry the bodies up the stairs. But together they could. So he said that, but they didn't, by the way. His excuse is, "My shoulder was fucked up, so rather than ask my wife to grab the other end, I said, I better dismember them.
Oh, no.
I better cut them up. That's the only way to do it. It'd make it more manageable for me." So, they discussed all this. He's an expert in field dressing game, and he's also butchered meat in his cafe for years. So he knows what he's doing, and it's crazy, man. They started doing this. They arrived. We don't know what time exactly this is happening, but it's probably past a little past 10 now. Yeah, it's got to be past 10 because they drove from the other town to here. So Harold, before he starts cutting them up, Ina drives the Hoyt's car from their house to the hospital. She parks it on the street, or parks it by the entrance.
Right.
Harold picks her up in their car and they go home. That's how the car got there. The laundry room they turned into, a Dexter fucking murder scene here. A wet room. Harold sent Ina upstairs during the butchery, telling her, quote, he didn't want her to be involved. But she came back anyway to assist because she's down as fuck. He began by dismembering Edwin Hoyt using a butcher knife and an axe.
Oh, my.
Yeah. The butcher knife had a wooden handle and about an 8 or 9 inch blade, which he had to sharpen 2 or 3 times over the course of doing this. He would grip the axe halfway up the handle with his left hand, and Harold used this to break the bones, is what he would do, remove the limbs, and then finally sever the head. Jesus. Harold then used the knife to slice the torso in half vertically and into thirds horizontally. Jesus Christ.
Just a knife?
Blood everywhere, yeah.
I can't imagine.
Also, during the butchering, he said the bullet fell out of the torso and onto the floor, and he recovered it and threw it away. So as he cut the body into pieces using the knife, he was also cutting away the clothing. He and Ina wrapped the severed parts in freezer paper left over from hunting trips, for those meat, and sealing the packages with masking tape. So like you were going to buy meat from a butcher, that's how they were packaging pieces here. After finishing all of this and packaging him up, they then had to cut up Wilma as well. Jesus Christ, she's at the foot of the stairs. So, they had just been stepping over her while they did all their stuff. So he dragged her body into the laundry room by the arm and did the same thing again. The bullet that killed her had not completely penetrated the body and was protruding from her skin. Jesus, how the hell did that happen? Was she faking it? What the fuck? Harold grabbed it and threw it away with the bullet that killed Edwin. He didn't remove any of her rings, though. Didn't take her rings off. That could be very easy to identify. So they were dismembered and wrapped up. They then put them in the freezer. There was already some meat in the freezer, so Harold removed it and placed the body parts on the bottom of the freezer, then placed the good meat on top of the body parts. You don't want to ruin your steaks for later.
Can you imagine? Accidentally opening a hand instead of a New York strip? Shit.
Oh, so then he turns his attention to the organs. He placed them in a large trash can, takes the trash can and drove approximately 17 miles west of McCook, where he dumped the contents into a deep ravine near a highway. So, he then drove home, taking the trash can with him. No neighbor had noticed it, by the way, because when they were asked, no neighbor noticed any funny business. When he got home, Ina's in the process of cleaning the basement. She had a hose to scrub the laundry room floor, and she cleaned the floor where all the blood was in both rooms. Nothing reported to anybody, nothing happening there. The next day, Harold paid a visit to his next-door neighbor and told them that his father's very ill in Culbertson, and if you see cars coming and going during the night, it's because I'm tending to my dad leaving, so don't worry about it. They also gather up a bloody rug that had been at the foot of the basement stairs, all of the clothing that the Hoyts were wearing, and the clothes he and Ina had been wearing, and packaged them up in a cardboard box, and then they had to go to work. So they left everything there and went to work.
This shit, and then they went to their shift?
Yep, he made it on time. Ina was a few minutes late at the elementary school, but, the kids understand. They don't mind. So, it's fucking wild, man. He did all of his shit. He placed the cardboard box containing all the shit there, the purses and the clothes and everything, and he drove to Trenton, which is west of McCook, and he also threw the Hoyts' glasses and Edwin's billfold into Trenton Lake. So there's that. He did all this shit. He gets back home. Harold Noakes sent Ina to buy some additional trash cans, and after dark comes, they pack the containers of body parts into the plastic trash cans and place the cans in the trunk of the car. They didn't have enough cans for all the body parts.
Yeah.
So they didn't have enough, so they placed the excess in their boat and towed it.
Oh, God.
They just hitched the boat up. So they set out for Harry Strunk Lake. It was raining, which people were like, why are they going out with a boat in the rain? That's different.
They feed when it's raining. It's a good time to fish.
It is a good time. So they were like, I guess whatever. So once they get to the lake, they load all the body parts into the boat and launch it. Check to see if anybody else is there. It's raining. No one's there. So they get out to the middle of the lake and unwrap the packages of frozen flesh and throw them into the lake. They just throw raw meat not packaged into the lake, along with the knife they used as well. And they said a few small body parts wouldn't submerge, but then would float on the surface. They ended up returning to the shore, or not the body parts, them. So they had to deal with that. They took the boat out of the water, built a fire, and burned the bloody freezer paper that had all the parts. So Harold, then the ones that wouldn't submerge, he concealed them in a mud bank near the fire.
Just buried.
And they went home. Then they went home. That was that. They went back the 29th, on September 29th. They went back to the lake to see if any of the parts they had thrown overboard had surfaced. While, this was like a week later they went to do that. Ina stayed in the car while Harold checked it all out. They didn't take the boat, so he just kind of looked around. He found 7 or 8 small pieces of flesh that had washed up on the rocks that covered the dam. He placed a large rock on top of them, and then they just left and never came back. So Kay, they think is the key to all this, the cops. So they want to talk to Kay. They arranged for her to take a lie detector test, and they administer the test. They concluded that Kay was telling the truth about not painting the signs herself, and that she correctly named those she had sex with and those she did not have sex with, though they couldn't tell whether she was telling the truth when she said that she was a bunch of sex shit, and everything was inconclusive about the parents, so they didn't know what the fuck to think. So then they bring in that Bob Sawden guy. He's the private investigator on October 1st. All this was going on, and the cops were like, we don't see any evidence of anything, because they left voluntarily, so it doesn't look like a struggle or anything. They hire this guy that we talked about. He doesn't even find out that Harold Noakes is a human being until he's well into this investigation, because he has nothing to do with the Hoyts. Right. The Hoyts have their own people, then all their children's people, their children, all these different people. Some fucking guy from the highway department that his daughter used to fuck doesn't even, enter into the whole thing. Yeah. It's fucking crazy. So Harold was never questioned by anyone in law enforcement during the graffiti investigation, even though Kay had admitted that she had an affair with him, and even that she suspected he might be the one doing it. They still never talked to him about it, which is fucking crazy. On October 11th here, Sawden went to Kay's home and confronted her, and she finally said that she had the affair with the Noakeses and divulged the whole thing. They take her in. She gives the story. Basically, they believe Kay. So this is getting ridiculous. October 3rd, 1973. Don't exactly know how they knew to go here. Well, we'll find out. So this is the Harry Strunk Lake, like we talked about. Wednesday, October 3rd, 1973. Very, very windy, and there's waves and everything like that. And it pushes, up onto the rocks and crashing waves and everything. Near a couple of fishermen. Dean McQuiety, who's a farmer near Cambridge. He's walking along the dam looking for carp. He gets to the west end of the dam and spots something in the water. What's that? Gets a little closer and sees it's a human foot bobbing in the water against the rocks. So, he scans the area, sees nothing else out of the ordinary. He bent down and picked the foot up out of the water.
What?
Okay, if you find a foot bobbing in the water, do you bend down and pick it up?
No.
No, that ain't my fucking job.
No.
Body part retrieval is not my job. Well, it might be gone when the cops get there. Okay, still, not my fucking job. Yeah, sorry. I'm not doing this. I'm not touching someone's fucking severed foot. So he pulls it out, and he leaves it on the rocks, sets it up there. He talks to the cops, tells them I found a fucking foot. They come in. They come over there, and they start to search the area. So they're searching the area, and while they're waiting for more searchers to come in, they see another object, and they pull it out of the water and up onto the rocks. It's the right arm of a female with a hand attached.
Oh.
And on the third finger was a ring with 5 various colored stones.
Oh, the birthstones of children.
Something, like you'd have someone with 5 of them. Yeah, 5 of them. So the sheriff here, he gets there, and they start to, go through the area. Through the afternoon, they discover all sorts of shit here. Let's see. They discovered a right female breast.
Yeah. Oh,
just
God,
a breast.
Just took it off.
A left foot, apparently female. A large piece of skin, approximately 4 inches by 7 inches, with what appeared to be a bullet hole in it. The hole was edged with black, which appeared to be powder burns, close range. Right lower forearm and hand, that's the female with the ring. A part of a right pelvic bone, that's apparently female. The lower half of a femur, sex unknown. A left breast, 6 ribs, and part of a sternum.
That's
of a
lot.
female. Yeah. Upper half of a lower leg from just below the knee to the ankle, and the lower forearm and hand of a female with an engagement ring and a wedding ring on the third finger.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, they found that. It sounds like they're finding way more of her than him.
Yeah.
He must be more dense or something. So they take pictures and all that sort of thing. Obviously, it's who they're looking for. It's the Hoyts. They found one here. They describe it as body part 10, believed to be from a female, was long and irregular in shape and included part of the shoulder, 5 ribs, and skin and flesh from the upper back. Jesus fucking Christ.
It wasn't even like a uniform.
No.
It was just a madness in there. Just hacking and chopping.
Absolutely. The next morning, the lake supervisor discovered another body part on the rocks of the dam. They keep finding body parts for a while. So, so the whole thing was, he drove over there to get misunderstandings straightened out. That was the whole, that's his whole story.
That's the crux of the argument.
So people freak the fuck out when they find these body parts. This town goes batshit crazy. Like, oh my God, there's body parts in the fucking lake, and it's like Harold and Wilma, and they show the pictures of them. Everyone goes, holy shit, that's the squarest people in the world. And the pieces look like the person
was exploded.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like a Wile E. Coyote fucking gag went right for once. Some residents immediately, and there was a big section who thought it had to be a satanic thing. Yeah. Had to be a satanic plot. Also, they started to suspect football players at the junior college of doing it. Wow, that's interesting.
Be pieces of shit.
They also were talking about wife swapping. They heard about wife swapping parties in town where they had key parties and people just picked keys. Oh my God. They feared also just your average run-of-the-mill garden variety deranged lunatic is what they're looking for as well. Anything could happen. People started picking their kids up from school instead of having them walk. Wow. They're locking their doors now. No one was locking their doors in small town Nebraska in the early 70s. They're doing all of this shit. It's fucking wild. They at one point, one of the Noakes' neighbors, the husband had to go out of town, and he told the wife that if she was afraid, she should spend the night over at Harold Nina's house because they'll protect her.
Yeah.
People are buying handguns everywhere. Elderly couples are really getting into the whole handgun thing. So Noakes here, Harold, he contacts an attorney at one point here. They talk to him. He says he did nothing wrong, doesn't know what you're talking about. Then they search his home on October 12th. They inventoried the house, removed some clothing found in the basement, found a blood-stained nightgown. It was later ascertained that it was menstrual blood, not murder blood. Took samples of what appeared to be blood from a floor drain in the basement laundry room and jackhammered a few bits of concrete from the floor of the laundry room. They also inventoried the contents of their car that night. They sent blood taken from the floor drain to the state laboratory for analysis. The lab determined it was animal blood.
Oh.
It's not, or it could be, but there's also people blood too. Because that's where they do deer, too. Nothing found in the search was in any way related to the Hoyts or their blood types. That's how good of a cleaner Ina is. She'll join in threesomes
house, James.
And fucking keeps a house to the point of you could dismember 2 people, and a week later the cops won't be able to find a fucking thing in your house. That's fucking wild. That's crazy. So they On October 12th, Kay Hine gave the investigator the dress, slip, and bra that Harold Noakes had ripped in half as he pulled her into the house that day. She also gave him the red light and said, yeah, you can, that he sent the red light bulb. The same day, the Noakeses are taken to jail while their house is being searched for whatever reason. While they're there, Harold says, quote, I belong in jail, but my wife doesn't. But then they found nothing in the house, so they just let him out, which must have seemed really weird to him as he after he said that. One point they're out. Ina is eating lunch at a place. They dress somebody in Kay's clothes, they dress there was a woman who looks like Wilma Hoyt in town, so they dress her in Wilma Hoyt's clothes and sit her next to Ina at a counter to see if Ina will react to her. And she doesn't. So that's how desperate they were. Yeah. They sent divers to look for additional body parts, and they couldn't find any more. Their new tactic, though, is they want a listening device in their house, the Noakes' house. There was 2 weeks full of hearings to see if they had exhausted everything to do that. So they end up doing it. They end up getting they put it in the ceiling in the attic in a bunch of shit. Problem is, it ruined the reception of the TV set. Yeah. So the Noakeses called a television repairman to fix the problem and everything. So they were like, "Oh shit!" They had to call the repair company. The cops did and say, "Whatever you do, don't say that this is causing the fucking problem because we got a whole operation going on." They didn't really say that much. They didn't say like, "Oh man, remember when we cut up Wilma and Edwin?" Like that never came out. The only thing they did say is at one point, they said the cops said they were quiet about it, but at one point they said that they shouldn't have left the rings on. That's one thing they said. We should have taken those rings off, which is interesting. That was, at one point also, a week into the bugging, this is what he said, quote, I'm sorry I got you into this. We should have removed the rings. That's what he told Ina. And so they were like, I mean, that's close enough.
That's pretty good.
And then there was a couple things about him telling his wife he planned to commit suicide.
Oh.
So they were like, let's arrest him before he kills himself. Yeah. We don't really have all that much evidence, but let's fucking arrest him anyway. So December 20th, 1973, they arrest Harold and Ina. They take him in. And on January 4th, he makes a full and complete confession. Really? We don't know how true it is because I told you some of the things were... Right. That didn't make sense. They, why didn't you kill Kay? Shit like that. But he says, we killed her. I cut her up. I did this. The only thing they think might be false is he might be taking Ina out of,
taking more responsibility than she did. Right?
Exactly. He's taking more of the responsibility than he actually did. So, yeah, he said that he did paint some of the obscene signs, but he did say, quote, I didn't paint near all of them. So I think she probably participated in that. He said, I felt like she hurt me an awful lot, and I guess I tried to hurt her back a little bit. That's why he killed her parents.
Her parents. A little bit.
He admitted to fucking up the lawn. He admitted to pouring sugar in the car's gas tank. He also admitted he sent the red light bulb. He said, I did it. And then he admitted he killed them. He said, I couldn't drag them upstairs. I had no other way to get them out. That was the most inhuman thing, was to cut them up. I know. I shouldn't have done that.
No, you shouldn't have.
That's what he tells him. He said the quickest way I knew of, he said he just decided to go to Harry Strunk Lake because it was, quote, the quickest way I knew of. I couldn't hardly have dug a hole very easily with my one arm. So they asked him what he felt like that night in the basement, and he said, quote, I just don't know. It was just kind of a nightmare. Kind of numb, I guess you would say. I know after it happened I should have called the law. Should have called James Sexton in, or Jack Sexton. I should have called Jack Sexton. He said, but I didn't want my wife involved, and she wasn't really all that way. All that way. I don't know. I asked her to leave, and she wouldn't leave, so the only thing I could think of was the way I could get them out, so I cut them up. They end up freeing Ina on bail.
Really?
$25,000 bond. They drop her charges from murder to illegal disposing of bodies. Wow. Instead, he takes her totally out of it. January 10th, 74, 20 days after he confesses, he is waiving his right to preliminary hearing and entering a plea of guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder.
Really?
Right up front. Guilty.
I'll
Done.
go to jail. I'm fine with it.
May 74, he's being sentenced that quickly. He tells the judge, quote, "If I had read the Bible, maybe this terrible thing would not have happened." So he's trying to get some... they give him, "You, sir, may fuck off." A 3-judge panel imposes a sentence of life imprisonment on the charge of first-degree murder, and the presiding district judge imposes a sentence of life imprisonment on the second-degree murder count and directs the sentences to be run consecutively. So
I was never getting out.
If you die, you're going to fucking come back and we'll keep you here for a while. So Ina enters a plea of 2 counts of illegally disposing of bodies, and that's what he does. 74, he appeals based on the search warrant, is what it is. Most of it is based, there's 13 points where there's errors. Also, shitty counsel here, bad representation of counsel here, incompetency. And he contended that, quote, this is his new lawyer, said that his old lawyer, quote, did none of the things which would be expected of a competent counsel as a rudimentary defense of so complicated set of charges. The problem is he wanted to do it quickly, so his wife wouldn't get put away.
Yeah, he was
period.
about
That's
her.
what he wanted. That's what he wanted. So 1976, Ina's been in prison for 26 months and she's paroled.
Wow.
Yeah, they vote 3-2 to let her out. That's wild, man. That's real light, man.
Who are
Holy
those
shit.
3 dildos?
Wow. Oh my God. So she was eligible for immediate release, but they don't know if when she's gonna be able to leave, or if they do a halfway house thing or what. One of the nephew, Leon Hoyt, this is Wilma and Edwin's nephew, said, "I think it had a lot to do with a certain district attorney running for state office. Like he didn't have time for this shit anymore." They did say that one of them here said, this is Roger Hoyt, he said, "I think the condition of her parole should be that she live in McCook, Nebraska," because they were saying that they were going to say she couldn't return to McCook, and he said she should have to live here.
Yeah. Be around.
She should have to.
Yeah.
Fucking everyone should be able to point at her and whatever. She plans to live in Lincoln, where she got a job as a typist, and her husband is not typing anything. He's in prison. So one of the parole board members said, "I hope there will not be any visit to the penitentiary," saying she hope that she doesn't go visit Harold in the penitentiary, which makes sense here. So 2007, I actually have the name of the people who wrote it for fucking shit, but there was a long time ago, so who cares? 2007, he does a 2.5-hour interview, Harold does, in prison with an author here. And he said, the author ended up saying, "There's a lot more to the story. I don't believe Noakes' version in either his confession in 1974 or the interviews now. Ina was far more involved than Noakes gave on, and in my book, I speculate as to why he felt he had to protect her. Obviously, he's trying to find something his conscience can live with. That makes sense. There's no evidence she participated in the murders, but certainly she could have been prosecuted as abetting." Fair. Very, very fucking fair. Now, he ends up living till February of 2017. Harold finally dies. 88 years old, he dies in prison.
Wow.
80 fucking 8. In for the long haul.
He survived 40 fucking years in prison.
Absolutely. It's fucking crazy that he survived that long. And then finally, April 25th, 2021, Ina finally dies at 91.
Wow.
These people are hardy, boy.
The wicked stick around, James.
Fuck me. So the book, a lot of the really good information came from a book, because the book, they were able to get documents that nobody could get for years and years and years. Nobody had applied for them, obviously, but they were able to get a hold of these documents. The book is called In Cold Storage, Sex and Murder on the Plains. And it's by James W. Hewitt. That's the guy's name. So, the author here, he says that this is Hewitt. He says that this kind of thing is, quote, "You don't think it could happen in a small Midwestern town like McCook." Yeah. Well, that's why we do this fucking show. And he says, obsession can make people do crazy things. We see it all the time. Noakes was your average, kind of mild-mannered guy who worked for the State Department of Roads for years. He got involved with Kay and couldn't let it go. But how does that happen when obsession crosses the line into murder?
Oh, my God.
And you get small-town murder. And that, everyone, is our story.
Wow.
That's some crazy shit. I'm sorry. That's insane. Midwestern thruples are weird.
How long they lived.
The whole thing. It's crazy. They both of them. Yeah. She was out of jail, but still, 88, he lived 2 in prison. He's like, somebody I wanted to kill myself 45 years ago. Jesus Christ. If you like that story, let everyone know about it. Tell the world, whatever app you're listening on, get on there. Give us 5 stars. We do have a couple quick announcements that are pretty important in a second. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Mm-hmm. Bonus stuff, so good. You get access, $5 or above. You get access to Crime and Sports bonus, Small Town Murders bonus, entire back catalog, everything. This week, Crime and Sports is insane, and you'll be interested in it even if you don't listen to Crime and Sports. It's this guy wrote a book called OJ is Innocent and I Can Prove It! ! And he spent 15 years and his whole life trying to fucking get this point, and he makes some amazing points that I've convinced basically everyone on my Twitter feed that heard that OJ is innocent. Check that out. And then for Small Town Murder, we did one of our favorite things, Love After Lockup or Love During Lockup, review of this season. And shit, did we have a ball with that. So check that out.
And Patreon. I got it correct. I thought it was, what is
You were
his name?
right.
Yeah.
You were right. It was Tulsi.
Right?
No, it was Tulsi that burned somebody's
not
house
Dalton.
down. Not Dalton. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That was the only thing we messed up on.
Yeah.
So, that said, also you get a shout out, patreon.com/crime and sports. Jimmy will mispronounce your name like he's going to do in just a moment.
Oh, yeah.
You want to make a donation on PayPal, use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. Okay, first the good news.
Yeah.
Starting next month in April, first week of April, when that episode comes out for Small Town Murder, we are going to go to, instead of just, you're going to get like an episode and some change back also.
A bit, yeah.
You're going to get your regular episode like you always get. Yeah. And then we are adding a short. Remember, we did this about a year and a half ago. We released a couple little short ones. A short 45 minutes, 50 minutes murder. Well, I mean, we'll just say what town it's in and stuff, but we won't like go into the town details. It'll be just crazy fucking murder. 45 minutes, little shorties, like a little lunchtime dealy. And we're gonna release one of those every week also. So you're gonna get more Small Town Murder.
Right.
Now, that said, if you're going to the Chicago show this weekend on Saturday, which we're looking so forward to.
Can't wait.
One thing I will tell you is to hydrate yourself because we found out this week, this is not our fault at all. No. They didn't tell us. We were only told by a listener who somehow found out. So thank you to that listener. This venue will not have alcohol.
Not this time.
Nothing. I know if you've been there, you were at the last show at the Athenaeum and you're like, they had booze that time. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
They closed down for COVID. They just reopened. They fucked something up with something. Liquor. I don't know what the fuck the problem is.
Yeah.
Trust us. We yelled, screamed, stomped our feet, pulled our fucking hair out. We actually tried to hire a fucking mobile bar to come there. Like, we would have done the show for free, broke even on them. We didn't give a fuck. We were like, we can't have 1,000 people have their night out they've been waiting for 2 fucking years and then go, hey, everyone, we're in a fucking AA meeting now. Stick your thumbs up your ass and we'll all talk about how the fuck we ended up here.
I'm Jimmy. You're all alcoholics.
Yeah, that's what my fucking opening was. Yeah. Hey, everybody, I wanted to tell everyone you all have a problem. That's why we're here. That said, Jimmy can't drink on stage either.
No, I can't either.
We can't bring alcohol in the fucking building.
No.
So it's fucking insane.
So get hammered early.
Get hammered early, and I'm just going to give a wink here and say, bring vape pens. Anyway.
Yeah.
And we'll do something with that. Because we're enraged by it. And
it's awful.
We get it. All we're going to say is, please do not. We can't do anything about it, so don't complain to us.
No, don't bitch.
It's the Athenaeum. Yeah. Feel free to complain to them because it's their fucking fault, not ours.
They made no mistake.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So do that. So those are our announcements.
Yeah.
That said, follow us on social media so you can find out stuff like this. We are at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. Now let's do something good. Yeah. And wonderful and fun. Tell me about my favorite fucking people in the world, Jimmy. Yeah. Tell me about the people who would never chop us into a ridiculous amount of pieces and poorly dispose of us in a lake. Jimmy, hit me with those names.
Yeah, this week's James executive producers are Danielle Bradley, Jordan Bennett, Martha Capagan. Happy birthday, Martha.
Happy birthday.
Ian Detweiler, Whitney Russell, Matthew Canizales, Morgan Wagoner, whore with no last name, Lisa Fallon, and Liz Vasquez. Thank you guys so much for taking care of us. You really do.
Look, yeah.
And we
Bottom
really
of our
appreciate
hearts.
you. Other producers this week, happy birthday, Drew. Tiffany Gonzalez's husband, James. She donates with the deep 90s cuts and then just says, happy birthday, Drew, love Tiffany. Like, just a bullshit for Drew, but
nothing
entertains us. He leaves babies inside you, Tiffany. He's wonderful. Happy birthday, Drew. We'll see you guys in Chicago. Other producers also are James.
Sober.
James's kilometer conversion apparatus, because you did a fantastic job with that, evidently. Miles to kilometers and kilometers back to miles. You were right on top of it. Corporal Carl Kirshner and his pepperoni. Wait, what? Yeah. And his pepperoni charcuterie board. That's what it is.
Okay.
Quint Shaw and his bigger boat. Peyton Meadows, James Martyr, Sean Flanagan, Ashley Powell, Joshua Bell, Archer Holly, Hale, Captain Lou Albino. Very funny. Isidore Schmuckstein. Karin.
Perfect.
Karin, that's Mrs. Pepperoni Nips. Happy Hour in Ioka, Utah. Doug Jones. Also, Joey Pepperoni Dips.
Do you
all
get
the
pepperonis
it? Do you get it?
Out. I
Pepperoni
do.
with dip. All right. Because evidently it's the sauce. Caitlin Blankenship, Susanna Platt, Janice Hill. Thank you, Janice.
Janice Hill, we know you.
Marcel Destin, Casey Jones. Yep. Roundhouse Rodney and the Minnesota Boomers. Rochelle Dobbs. Amanda Brown, happy birthday. Joey Pepperoni Nips. Everybody's a pepperoni nip this week.
Look, we said we liked it.
Janoiki loves ruffle butt jammies, evidently. Autumn Cahoe, Steve Schnell, Johnny Udy, Stella Barnum, Thomas Smith, Jason with no last name, Forrest, Ryan Moss, he's a bitch, evidently. Ryan Kelly, Austin Bronzy, Sensei Relly, I guess, John Berg, Jay Espinoza, Dakota Durbin, Kathleen White, Stacy Kitchens, Josh Tunks, Chantel Smith, Dustin with no last name, Paige Anderson, Sarah in Australia, Brinley Richardson, Daniel Malloy, Leslie Dushensky, boy. Catherine DeBonis, John Lopez, Sheena Hyena, Nick Miller, Trevor Anderson, Lucas Hilgeman, Savannah Sieber, Joanne Griffin, AJ with no last name, Sarah Stankovich, Evan Shear, Adam Barry, Justine Noble, Trisha with no last name, Candace Coakley, Mary Frances Hausman, Laura Bailey, Jesse Gordon, Scott Whiting, Jared Adams, Julie Habel, Morgan Von Seegern, Nora McCaffrey, Nick Cosgrove, Dr. Diane Carlson, Allie Byers, Megan Uribe, Nick Lawton, Corey Clark, Kristen Taylor, Cormac Dugan, I think, Duggan. Claire Kelly, Bark Lay.
Hard going today.
I'm not good at this. Colleen Helfst, Janine Olson, Heather Kidd, Jen Selectman, Tracy Barton, Devin Martinez, Matt Fitzy, Roddy Piper, Amanda Jacob. But Roddy, like a Rottweiler.
Okay.
Ashley Luongo, Otis Cribla Clubless. Nope. Jack Burton, Shannon Gilmer, Derek Rios, Tiffany Everhart, Hannah Stewart, Lisa Percando, Dwayne Hamilton, Benjamin Fresco, Danielle Bradley, Austin Barker, Amy Lee, Nicholas with no last name, Gabriel Clark, Beck, God damn it, the Gremlins Museum, Elise Harris, Benedict Hutchinson Brooks, Benjamin Baumgartel, Jungus Bungus,
of course, good.
Juan Corrales, Angela Rice, Nick Vincent, Jim Jones Juice, Stella Itori, Byron Banning, Aaron Rigsby, Billy Schlacks, Erica Fairley, Casey Green, Minaj Ara. What? Oh, I see what you did. Laura Robb, Ben Speed Patterson, Bethany Mason, Dana Bartram. Autumn Godby, Dominic Sizabaskinski, what? Sizpansky? Sizbaskinsky.
Yeah, so much trouble.
Holly Heath, Trowell Barton, Michaela Chafin, Jen Kucha, The Clap. Good for you. Wayne Nadeau, Carol Ann Keener, Deanna Kuykendall, Joel Snyder, Brett Stampley, Lauren Mandel, oh man, Anna Tavel, Patty Larrabee, Jessica Wanless, Ola Barglowski, Nia Pine, Colin Church, Sydney Holmes, Andrew Fritz, Corey Gaines, Aaron Maxon, Dimitri Taylor, Matt Cleveland, that's Sydney Jones, Adriana Huff, Bobby Williams, Jody Gusso, Carrie Curry, Lucky Day, Kim Gardner, Andrea Kennedy, Christy Cothran. Lucky Day, that's from Three Amigos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Fucking, yeah.
Yeah.
Amber Wilson, Jessica DePriest, Jennifer Giordano, Sierra Lang, Paul Simbera, Ryan Mackey, Vanya Kaladzik, Sonia Martinez, Annika, with no last name, Jake J. Henson, Beth R. Manny Bordajak, and fucking what? Bordajacany? I don't know. Timothy Harris, Maddie Martin, Ian Anderson, Donnie G, Jaden Lane, Catherine Schmidt, Mallory Fermansky, Senior Poop, Sam Saraski, Omar Awad, Doug Swanson, Yvonne, oh boy, Ivan Vishnikov,
Yeah.
Nishvi, Sarah Cheney, right. Drake Evans, Jonathan Cascarano, Amber Robinson, Sarah Bricker, Kevin Powell, Danny Proctor, Kevin Arroyo, Luke Nealon, Ethan Martin, Kay Cadle Ferguson, Jamie Hathcock, Elizabeth Ammer with an H, Tala Hun, Nick Waldron, Shelly Speckman, and all of our patrons. You guys are fucking incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, you crazy, awesome, amazing people. Thank you for everything that you do for us. And thank you. We can't thank you enough for all that. Thank you so much. Hope you like the...
You're it. You're amazing.
You're it. Yeah, hope you like the episodes. And that said, you want to find us on social media, you can find us. You can find us.
On the internet.
And everything else that has to do with us. Go to shutupandgivememurder.com. You can find links to everything there and find all of our stuff on there. That said, goddammit, it's been a wild episode of weird square Nebraska threesomes. I don't know how to... I gotta go process that shit, man. It's wild.
Just like murderers, James, you never know who's doing the threesomes.
You never know. It's just who's killing, who's fucking. You never know. And I guess we'll keep trying to find out. Yeah. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles...
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.